slightly before that opening bell. Well, there's lots of cleanup this morning after last night's storms brought down trees and limbs. Also, likely some hail damage, golf ball-sized hail reported in Cedartown. And this woman tells Channel 2 Action News there was hail in Ackworth.
I knew it was storming, thundering, lightning, all that stuff. Went outside, it was hailing. Pieces were like that big. There was no damage. It was actually kind of soft hail.
A Douglas County family is grateful nobody was injured after a tree came crashing down on their home on Horton Place. The storm also resulting in a ground stop for a time at Hartsfield-Jackson, and it's having a residual effect this morning. FlightAware Tracker right now indicating over 140 delays and cancellations today. Questions remain after firefighters find a body inside a home that caught fire overnight. Atlanta Police crime scene officers and the medical examiner were brought to the scene of the townhome near the intersection of Joseph E. Boone and Joseph E. Lowry Boulevards. They are now working to determine whether that person died as a result of the fire or from other causes. Well, today marks the return of the annual Dogwood Festival at Piedmont Park.
And this is the 89th year of the festival, and Executive Director Brian Hill tells me it's got an amazing legacy in Atlanta from all of those decades.
It's multi-generational, and the stories sometimes people tell are really touching, like, well, my dad talked about his grandfather bringing him, and my dad brought me, and look, I'm here with my kids now. And it's like, wow, that's an amazing legacy for the city of Atlanta.
The Dogwood Festival kicks off today and runs through Sunday, featuring the Fine Arts Market, along with music and dancing, too. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Round 2 of the Masters is now underway this morning. Englishman Justin Rose currently in the lead after firing an opening score of 65. That is 7 shots below par.
I've played a lot of good rounds of golf here. I've got a lot of crystal, which is obviously always nice, but yeah, ultimately you want to be last man standing on Sunday.
And Rose has just started his second round of play. He has a 3-shot lead over 3 players, including last year's champion, Scotty Scheffler. It is 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. Right now, it is time for live team coverage of traffic and weather together. Triple team traffic with Smiling Mark McKay.
All right, Graham, I-20 westbound shut down past Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. Crash investigation ongoing in Cobb County. Cobb Police doing their work. The interstate is shut down, and the delays on 20 West are back into the I-285 interchange. Out of West Atlanta, use Hollowell Parkway. That's Highway 78. That'll turn into Veterans Memorial Highway and get you into Mableton, Austell, and Lithia Springs, also having an impact on the inner and the outer loop trying to get into I-20. Outer loop delays out of Cobb County begin south of South Cobb Drive, exit 15, and the inner loop is stacking up at Cascade Road, headed north toward I-20. What's left over in downtown, midtown Atlanta? Ashley Frasca.
Slowest part of the ride is traveling 85 south below Georgia 400, on and off the brakes, getting under that Peachtree Street overpass, and a tap of the brakes on the connector northbound now, leaving I-20. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Mid-60s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A few stray showers or storms, no severe weather threat, and gusty winds. Blowing a drier air, we'll have sunshine on Saturday. Stay breezy, low 45, high 64.
It is 53 degrees in Austell, 54 degrees in McDonough, and 54 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. At 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
We made it, friends. The weekend is within reach. Welcome to the Mark Arum Show. 3 hours jam-packed for you today. Obviously, we're going to be monitoring the markets again. We got more on the ping-pong trade tariff war going on with China. We upped it. They upped it. We'll go to D.C. in just a minute, get the latest there. 9:35. I don't know if you saw the video yesterday. That horrible helicopter crash in New York City. 6 dead, including a family of 5 and the pilot. We're going to go to Aaron Katersky live in New York City after the news at 9:35 to get the latest and trying to find a cause of how that tragedy happened. Political analyst Bill Crane live at 10:35. Welcome him back as he continues his cancer journey. He's going to talk politics with us. And this is exciting, Deborah. I don't know how you pulled this off. You know, I am an archaeological freak, and that dire wolf story that popped in the news, Deborah has booked a DNA expert from Georgia Tech to join us at 11:05. I've got so many questions for this professor, Deborah. So kudos. It's 2 minutes into the show. You've already got star of the show for booking me a DNA expert. So I thank you. She says you're welcome. I heard her. Anyway, I want to start off first off before we get up to D.C. and get the very latest on the trade war with China. My heartfelt appreciation to all the single parents out there. I don't know how you do it. Raising kids solo in the home. I've been a single dog dad this week. Maya is out of town for spring break. Thankfully, she comes home tonight. But I'm like a feral cat without her. And I just have to take care of 2 dogs, which I know is a lot easier than if I had to take care of 2 actual human beings. But I've been a mess all week. Last night, I had for dinner, I had one of those Easy Mac cups that you microwave, the Kraft Easy Mac. I'm lost without her. The dogs are looking at me like, dude, what is wrong with you? You're not doing any of this right. You're not doing anything we're supposed to be doing. And it reminds me of that 1983 classic comedy, Mr. Mom, starring Michael Keaton. You remember that movie? Yeah. I had Nilki. I'm going to play some audio. This has basically been me all week without Maya, just being a single dog dad.
Guess what? We're right on time.
But Dad, you're doing it wrong. Mommy doesn't do it like this.
We're going to do it the Jack Butler method. What is this? This is nuts. Why are they all honking?
Because you're doing it wrong.
Tell me I'm doing it wrong. I know how to do this.
Hi, Jack. I'm Annette.
Hi.
You're doing it wrong. See? This is what I tell all my new mommies. We enter from the south and we exit from the north. And then we do just the reverse when we pick up. Swear, little ones don't have to walk between the cars to get to the learning facility. Okay, moving out. And remember, south to drop off, north to pick up.
Pick them up. Okay, it's a good system.
South to drop off, moron!
I have been a moron all week. I don't know. I just... You're so underappreciated, you single parents out there. I literally don't know how you do it. Another day, and I'd be in the front yard in boxers on a lawn chair drinking beer. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm doing it all wrong. The dogs even know I'm doing it all wrong. So from the bottom of my heart to all the single parents out there, I don't know how you do it. You're remarkable individuals. But Maya's coming back tonight, so I'm very excited about that. All right, the big tariff news was that China has hit us now with reciprocal tariffs. China firing back at the U.S. after President Trump enacted a 145% tariff on Chinese imports. Let's get the story from ABC's Britt Clennett in Hong Kong.
China now raising import taxes on goods from the United States to 125% as the tit-for-tat trade war escalates even further. The announcement from Beijing coming hours after Chinese President Xi Jinping said there were no winners in a tariff war. China faces a 145% levy on some of its goods imported to the United States as President Trump zeroed in on China as a target while pausing tariffs on dozens of other countries. In announcing the latest tariff hikes, China's Commerce Ministry again said China would fight to the end. But the statement also suggested this might just be China's last tariff increase, saying if the U.S. raises rates higher again, China will ignore it. Britt Clennett, ABC News, Hong Kong.
All right, so China actually, Xi Jinping actually speaking out on this trade war for the first time. CNN's Mark Cohen was in Beijing this morning with Chinese reaction to the tariffs.
Look, none of this is a surprise. These latest tariffs are very much in the Chinese playbook. But what's very attention-getting to me is the fact that China is now saying it's not going to raise tariffs any higher, saying it has other weapons, almost making fun of the United States for raising the stakes, raising the numbers so high. Let me share with you some remarks we got late today from a government official here in Beijing who said that the United States is engaging in nothing more than a numbers game with no real economic significance, going on to say the United States is exposing itself as a participant in weaponizing tariffs, as a tool of bullying and coercion, turning itself into a joke. So that is the latest where China stands in this back and forth tit for tat. The other big headline of the day is that we are hearing from Chinese President Xi Jinping, really the first time since this whole trade war escalated to such a high level. The big headline is that he is saying China is not afraid. These are remarks that were made with the Spanish Prime Minister here in Beijing. And according to state media, he said that China is going to continue to remain confident, it's going to remain focused, saying there are no real winners in the trade war. Kate, the language that we're hearing from Xi Jinping is very consistent with what we've heard from other government officials over the last few days. And as you mentioned, as far as the possibility of a phone call between Xi Jinping and President Trump, not in the near future. That's the messaging that we're feeling from Beijing, at least.
All right, Mark Stewart from CNN Live this morning in Beijing. And to me, the headline is that not only are we hearing from Xi, the Chinese president, but he is not mincing words. He is basically saying, we don't need you, you need us. And if you've been listening to the show the last couple of days, I fully believe that the United States and China have a fully symbiotic relationship, regardless of who's taking advantage of whom, whoever is whapping each other with tariffs. We both need each other in this global economy. Elena Trine at the White House just a little bit ago. Elena, any reaction yet from the White House to what the Chinese have done with the reciprocal tariffs?
So far, the White House has not responded to the latest remarks from China or from President Xi. But what I will say is that the White House has been very dug in on its position as it relates to China. They're acting very defiant in this kind of trade tit for tat that we are seeing. But I think what's been very clear so far, Kate, is that this position is not going to be tenable for much longer. At some point, the two sides are going to need to really open lines of communications. Now, we actually have a story out this morning kind of breaking all of this down, but at the crux of it, Kate, is this. Two White House officials tell me that the president and the U.S. will not reach out to China first. The president has made it clear to his team and to his advisors that he wants China to come to them. And really, he wants to have a high-level meeting directly between him and President Xi himself. Now, this has been what the White House has been communicating to Beijing for several months now. But on the other side, we also know that Beijing does not really want to have that high-level meeting. What they've been trying to do is open communications at a lower level. And so really, there's been this stalemate and no talks at all going on right now between the Trump administration and that of President Xi. Now, one hurdle of what we're hearing behind the scenes here at the White House is that the president believes that President Xi does not want to be seen as weak. And that's really as well kind of what's coming into this refusal and waiting to see who blinks first here. Now, we've also heard President Donald Trump say that he is confident that he can reach a deal at some point. He said that he believes China will come around. He said China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how to go about it. They're proud people. We've heard similar rhetoric from some of his top economic advisors saying that the ball is now in China's court. It's clear that's not how China sees this, but I think the key question now moving forward is that really how this all is decided is going to be on how much pain are they willing to take, how much more pain are they willing to see in this escalation of these tariffs without any real communications to ensure there's an off-ramp.
Elena Trine at the White House just a little bit ago, she brings up a good question. So again, President Xi, speaking out for the first time, he said 125% reciprocal tariffs. We're not going to raise it anymore. That's it. We're done playing around. That's it. Of course, the tariffs on Chinese goods from America is up over 140%. But Xi said, this is it, 125%. It's a game of chicken. But what Elena raised the question is there, how much pain can the United States consumers take in this trade war with China? And maybe at the end of the day, this whole tariff thing has just been about China, not so much Cambodia or Bangladesh or India, but it's all been about our trade deficit with China. At the end of the day, is this the only thing that matters to President Trump and the administration? But the question is, can we withstand this pain? Now, China has the advantage in this point. Right here in the United States, we have elections. There are political consequences to not doing what the voters want. Right? We got midterms coming up. We got another presidential election in 2028. So eventually the pain will show a political reflection. Enough Americans get sick of this. They're going to demand new leadership. They're going to demand a change of policy. That's the beauty of this country, right? If we don't like what's going on, we use our voice, we vote, and we get it done. There's no such mechanism for the president of China. The pain tolerance out of necessity from Chinese citizens is exponentially higher. If they don't like the economic situation in China, what are they going to do? I mean, short of Tiananmen Square, there's not much they can do. They can't vote out the president. I mean, it's pretty much a dictatorship. So if this is a arm wrestling match, or you ever do that thing? I didn't do this because I don't know if I'm smart or a chicken. That lighter game when you were a teen and dumb and young, and you'd hold the lighter up and you'd see who could hold their hand over the lighter long enough, and then like the Chinese are going to be able to hold that hand over the flame a lot longer than the United States, because we have mechanisms. If we don't like what's going on with the economic situation in the United States, we go to the voting booth and we make a change. What the heck do you think happened in November? Number one issue was the economy, was inflation. We didn't like what was going on the last 4 years, so we went and we voted. We have that ability to make change. Chinese residents don't. So this is a battle of pain. Who can last longer? Who can tolerate the pain longer? Advantage Chinese. I'm very curious to see, again, President Trump wants to meet head on with the president of China. China wants it to start with lower level delegates talking about it. But eventually, if it's the two presidents meeting, that's another game of chicken. Does Xi come to the White House? Does Trump go to China? Do they meet in Saudi Arabia again, like we had the it's a very interesting situation. Who can tolerate more pain? I think China can, because they don't really have an option. All right, Dow futures are all up. That's good. We're in the green. NASDAQ, S&P, and NASDAQ all in the green. A little bit, just a little bit, but it's better than being in the red. Before we chat traffic, got a great announcement. Next week, Deborah Green, we are going to give away tickets on this show to see the Yacht Rock Review live at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on Sunday, April 26th. And we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to a special private appearance by the band live right here in the WSB Live Lounge on Monday, April 21st. So all next week, I think in the 9 and 11 o'clock hours, you're going to get a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review at their concert at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, and also a private showing with me hosting and the WSB Live Lounge. So,
do you have your favorite Yacht Rock songs picked out?
I've got Vinny making me a playlist right now. I'm going to make a request. So that I'm very excited. What a cool prize. Tickets to the concert and tickets to the private showing here at WSB Radio. We'll be giving those away all next week during the Mark Arum Show. All right, it's been a bear out there this morning. Red alerts, backups. Let's check the latest with Mike Shields.
Yeah, Mark, and 4 hours later, I-20 westbound at Riverside Parkway right by Six Flags Over Georgia remains shut down due to this long-standing crash investigation. Traffic diverted off on the Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49, and just done a number to all the streets in and around Six Flags Over Georgia off of I-20. 285 also impacted southbound slow before Hollowell Parkway, northbound on and off the brakes from Cascade Road just getting up to I-20. Continue if you can, use Highway 78 as an alternate. This report is brought to you by Active Pest Control. Mosquitoes are annoying and can be dangerous. Let Active Pest Control help keep your yard mosquito-free year-round. For $69 initial mosquito control service, visit ActivePestControl.com today. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You can earn a hiring bonus up to $2,500. Apply today at overheaddooratlanta.com. Overheaddooratlanta.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope. Advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
This was my boyhood dream. Game day in the NFL. And that dream came true for me. Everything was going great for 7 years until one wrong hit put an end to everything. Hi, this is former NFL tight end Mitch Lyons. I was blindsided that fateful Sunday in the NFL, and that injury flipped all my plans upside down. Today, I see how retirement plans can be blindsided. Sudden, unexpected setbacks can jeopardize the goals and dreams you've saved for. That's why at MitchLyonsWealth.com, we show you winning strategies for protecting your savings, maximizing growth, and avoiding common retirement fumbles. MitchLyonsWealth.com helps take your retirement plans into the end zone for a strong finish. Give us a call at 888-471-3896. That's 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL.
Market timing doesn't work. You don't know when to get in and when to get out. But time in the market works. So stick to your game plan. Try to stay steady. Control what you can control.
Stick to it, says business analyst Jill Schlesinger from CBS. A little bit later on, we're going to talk to financial author Jared Dillon with advice for us on how to deal with the uncertainty in the markets right now. Dow futures, NASDAQ futures, they're in the red a little bit. But again, it's just from what we've seen with the big swings, it's just a little dip. We'll see what happens when the markets open at 9:30, and we'll update them throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. A local story that we are fully invested in. An update on the BioLab situation, please, Deborah.
Earlier this week, we found out that BioLab was fined $60,000 for their plume last fall. Now, an environmental advocate, Scott Smith, he presented his findings after the chemical fire. Recent test results revealed a high concentration of a dangerous chemical known to accumulate in the body over time. Smith said several chemicals found in the material were volatile and present at dangerous levels. Further environmental testing and legal action may follow as the residents continue to demand full disclosure of the potential health risk associated with that chemical fire from BioLab.
Yeah, thanks, Deborah. This could be like 3 Mile Island. This is a story that is not going away. I chuckled at that $60,000 fine. That is just the beginning. I'm not going to really update the Masters as far as the golf is going. I mean, I watched over the weekend, but Justin Rose is leading. But more importantly, the phone situation at the Masters, Deborah.
Your cell phone at the Masters. Whether it's a smartphone or an old school flip phone, you can't have it. If you do need to make a call, you can walk over to the public courtesy phones, complete with cords. It is a novelty for the generations that grew up with all the smart tech and have never used one before. In fact, people line up to use those phones only to realize, oh, wait, I don't have any numbers memorized.
Yeah, for real. I remember when I went to the Masters, they didn't check to see if you had the phone. You just you either had to leave in your car or not take it out. But they threatened that if they saw you with a phone out at the Masters, they would revoke your badge and you'd be kicked out. So it was dicey. Stricter cell phone laws at Augusta National than at the shoe shows. Apparently at the shoe shows, you can have them. You just can't take pictures. Masters, they don't want those phones at all. I guess pay phones. I wouldn't remember any number. I'd remember the traffic center. That's the only number I remember. All right, news, weather, and traffic straight ahead. And when we come back live to New York, the very latest on that tragic helicopter crash, that's next on The Mark Arum Show.
Belinda here for Atlanta Vision Institute. I'm here to introduce you to a new procedure that Dr. Ashraf is performing called laser optics. This changed my life, folks. I was so tired of wearing contacts and glasses. The glasses were not around when I needed them. I had astigmatism, so the contacts didn't fit me well, and I had beginning stages of cataracts. So I went in. I was a great candidate for laser optics. It was a quick, painless procedure. The next day, it was like everything was in HD. The colors were more vibrant. The leaves were more vibrant. The sky was more vibrant. My husband was better looking. Everything was great. Laser optics with Dr. Ashraf, Atlanta Vision Institute. Go to the website 2020atlanta.com to find out more information. Also, take the quiz to see if this is a procedure that's good for you. Your medical insurance may cover it. That's 2020atlanta.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy.
Hey.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It's 9:30. I'm Graham Carroll. Our top local story: a Walmart on Salem Road in Covington, the scene of a deadly overnight shooting. The suspect is an employee who was working at the time. Investigators say he went outside, got a weapon, and re-entered the store where he shot 2 other employees before driving to a home on nearby Emerson Trail.
The subject left this area, went to a neighborhood, entered a residence, located another certain individual, female, and shot her.
Sergeant Jack Redlinger says that woman died, as did one of the 2 male victims at the store, the third man in critical condition. The shooter then fled to Aiken, South Carolina, but was apprehended there. The store was closed when the shootings occurred. Only employees were present at the time. A stark warning from the Paulding County Sheriff's Office about a new game kids are playing in their neighborhoods that could come with dangerous consequences.
There are a few variations of the game, Senior Assassin.
Some of the variations is they ring the doorbell, they run off, the homeowner opens the door, they squirt them or squirt the other person with a water gun, something to that effect.
Jordan Yotis with the Paulding County Sheriff's Office says the problem is kids are dressing all in black and painting their water guns black to look real, and they've gotten a number of calls from concerned citizens. He says it's got to stop.
We're trying to prevent a child from being killed from this senseless game.
He says parents could even face charges if your kids are caught doing this. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The trade war between the U.S. and China is escalating once again. Chinese President Xi Jinping saying they're raising reciprocal tariffs on U.S. imports to 125%.
Today, he sat down with the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Next week, he travels to Malaysia, Cambodia, and Vietnam. These are all countries hit hard by Donald Trump's tariffs.
Stephen McDonald reports President Xi says his nation is not afraid. A 145% tariff is in effect on most Chinese goods that are entering the U.S. A Coweta County teacher and two 15-year-olds face charges after an investigation into sexual conduct involving a minor. The Coweta County Sheriff's Office says it began investigating 55-year-old Patricia Fulford several months ago. She's an English teacher at East Coweta High School, but is now on administrative leave. She's charged with cruelty to children and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The teens are both charged with child sexual exploitation. There are questions remaining weeks after the discovery of a man's body in a Decatur treehouse. Investigators still are not entirely sure what happened.
Unfortunately, the answer is that we didn't find out very much. We ruled cause and manner of death undetermined.
31-year-old Hank Franz had been positively identified by the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office after siblings found his remains in their dad's backyard treehouse. But now, Operations Director Bianca Lovelace says with no skeletal trauma or on-scene clues, his death remains a mystery.
It's awful to not be able to answer those questions for people, but I think in skeletal remains at least, there is some understanding of the limitations on the science.
They were able to narrow the time frame to a minimum of several months. Lovelace says the final report is pending. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
It is 9:33, and it's time for a check of traffic and weather. Mike Shields live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Graham, still following a crash investigation. It does appear to be in the clearing stages, but right now all lanes remain blocked. I-20 westbound at Riverside Parkway, exit 46, right in front of Six Flags over Georgia, and a diversion is still in place on the Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. That's impacted 285 in both directions on the west side perimeter, trying to just get past I-20. Continue to use Highway 78, Vendors Memorial Highway as a wide way around the delays on I-20. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Mid-60s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A few stray showers or storms. No severe weather threat and gusty winds. Blowing in drier air. We'll have sunshine on Saturday. Stay breezy. Low 45, high 64.
It is 55 degrees in Austell, 56 degrees in McDonough, and also 56 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Just spiraling down. We were like, oh my God, and we start screaming.
Tragedy
like,
on the Hudson River in New York yesterday. Deadly helicopter crash. Coming up next to the Mark Arum Show, we go live to New York City. Aaron Kotersky from ABC News next.
Your roof has been impacted. Heavy rain, strong winds, damaging storms. Home Fix-It show host Dave Baker here. I recommend you get a free roof analysis from my award-winning roofer, Findlay Roofing. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof. Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Belinda here for Atlanta Vision Institute. I'm here to introduce you to a new procedure that Dr. Ashraf is performing called laser optics. This changed my life, folks. I was so tired of wearing contacts and glasses. The glasses were not around when I needed them. I had astigmatism, so the contacts didn't fit me well, and I had beginning stages of cataracts. So I went in. I was a great candidate for laser optics. It was a quick, painless procedure. The next day, it was like everything was in HD. The colors were more vibrant. The leaves were more vibrant. The sky was more vibrant. My husband was better looking. Everything was great. Laser optics with Dr. Ashraf, Atlanta Vision Institute. Go to the website 2020atlanta.com to find out more information. Also, take the quiz to see if this is a procedure that's good for you. Your medical insurance may cover it. That's 2020atlanta.com.
Don't shoot the messenger. Dow just opened 7 minutes ago. It's down 241 points. Not terrible. Minor drips on the S&P and the NASDAQ. We'll update the markets throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Coming up in 30 minutes, going back live to Capitol Hill. We're actually going to go to the White House. We'll see if the White House has reacted yet to the reciprocal tariffs offered by China up to 125%. 11:05, we're going to get a professor from Georgia Tech, a DNA expert, is going to join us, talk about those new dire wolves. But yesterday, horrible situation in New York City.
Falling apart in midair, and then the tail came off and then just flipped over in midair. Propeller still propelling without the helicopter as it was falling.
Fatal helicopter crash in New York City. Joining us live from New York from ABC News, our buddy Aaron Katersky. Aaron, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Good morning. It is a dreadful situation. The family of 5 visiting New York from Spain. They were on this sightseeing helicopter tour celebrating the wife and mother's 40th birthday. They were all killed, husband, wife, 3 young kids killed, along with the pilot, when this Bell 206 helicopter, a workhorse helicopter with a pretty good safety record, broke apart in midair and then plummeted down into the frigid, choppy waters of the Hudson.
Yeah, really stunning video. Tough to watch, too. Do we have any reason why that the helicopter seemed to disintegrate in midair before crashing into the water?
We don't know yet. The NTSB has just gotten on scene here to begin the investigation. Most of the body of the helicopter had been lifted out of the Hudson and taken to a salvage yard, but there are still pieces of it that are in the water. So divers are going to go back this morning, and then the NTSB can try to piece all this together.
I was watching the coverage yesterday, and at first it seemed like it was a rescue mission, right? Were any of the 6 souls alive at all after they crashed, or did they all die on impact? Do we know?
No, 4 of them were pronounced dead at the scene. They took 2 of the victims to the hospital, and the divers said, Mark, they did all they could, but this crash was not survivable because the rotor seemed to split apart from the body, and so that it was just a dead drop into the water at a very fast velocity, and nothing that anyone could do.
There no chance that weather was the cause of this crash. How was the weather in NYC yesterday?
It didn't seem like it, at least it was a little bit windy, but nothing that would keep a helicopter grounded. It was a little bit drizzly, cold. But again, weather didn't seem like an obvious factor. Obviously, the NTSB will determine for sure.
What more do we know about it was a family of 5 from Spain, and apparently the patriarch, the father, was a well-known businessman?
Yeah, he worked for the international tech conglomerate Siemens. He was an executive in there. Lived in Spain, had a wife who was celebrating a 40th birthday, 3 kids, ages 4, 8, and 10. The 8-year-old's birthday would have been today. It appears he may have been on a business trip. The authorities say, and the family joined him to celebrate these birthdays. They were taking the sightseeing helicopter tour, which is really common around here. And that's when the helicopter went down at about 3 3:15, 3:20 yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. Here is that this isn't an odd thing. A helicopter tour in New York City. They're all over. Flying up and down the Hudson, the East River. Lower Manhattan. These are pretty ubiquitous when it comes to tourists coming to New York and jumping in a chopper.
And there have been accidents from time to time. There was one in 2018, killed 5 people. There was one in 2009, killed 9 people, tourists. And at that time, there was a debate about the frequency of these flights and whether such busy, airspace could really accommodate all of these helicopter flights. And there have been calls to curtail them, but so far, they keep flying. New York Helicopters, which has been operating for the last 30 years, has a decent safety record. I think we found 2 violations, in that 30-year time frame. So no telling what this might have been.
Yeah, really tragic story. Aaron Katersky, ABC News. Aaron, as always, appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see what the investigation leads to. Listen, I've flown in choppers hundreds of hours, right, covering traffic. But you need to be wary if you're going to take one of those chopper tours. Like there used to be one driving up toward the Harrah's Cherokee Casino. As you take that right to head toward the casino, there's like this little chopper there. And it's like with a hand-painted sign, chopper tours available. And I'm like, not if you paid me. No, but this was a legitimate outfit up there in New York City. Just horrible. Whole family of 5. Just awful. I mean no disrespect, but is it make it better that the family died together? You know what I'm saying? And wasn't they didn't leave a 4-year-old survive. I don't know. It's just a horrible story. I apologize, but thanks to Aaron Katersky joining us live there from New York City. All right, checking in now with us on this busy, wild streak on Wall Street. It's Jared Dillon, best-selling financial writer, spent part of his career on Wall Street, also an active investor. Jared joins us on the Mark Arum Show. Jared, good morning. Uncertainty on Wall Street and uncertainty from investors, people like me and the listeners here. What do we expect moving forward when it comes to the stock market, and how can we even, try to protect ourselves?
Well, first of all, don't panic. Not that panicking is a bad thing. You're allowed to panic, but if you're going to panic, you have to panic before everybody else does. Panicking after everybody else does is no good. So if you're sitting on a stock portfolio and it's down 17 to 20%, I would just hang on. And it's my personal opinion that we're going to recover most of these losses again sometime pretty soon.
Can there be any lessons learned? Because I know when we had that first precipitous drop of the Dow, a lot of folks nearing retirement age were probably too invested in the markets and didn't adjust their 401k allocations properly. Have we learned any lessons so far on financial planning for retirement from this?
That is a big lesson. First of all, it's my belief that Americans hold too much stocks, period. We are too heavily invested in stocks, but especially older people. When I first started investing back in 1997, I read about this rule of thumb that said that whatever your age is should be your percentage allocation to bonds. So if you're 30, you should have a 30% allocation to bonds. If you're 70, you should have a 70% allocation to bonds. All the baby boomers that I know have all stock. They're loaded up on stock. Somebody who's 65 years old and who is about to retire just had a 20% hit to their portfolio, and they're like, "What happened?" And I just look at them and I'm like, the market has gone up for so long that people have really forgotten what a bear market or a big correction is like, and they're just taking too much risk. That's the extent of it.
I had never heard that bond percentage. I like that. So I'm 51, and I've got about 25 to 30% in bonds right now. That makes sense though to up it to close to that 50% range.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Also, there, even above stocks and bonds, there are other asset classes. You can invest in commodities or just gold as a proxy. You can invest in real estate. It's also good to have a large cash position. People are generally too overinvested. They do not have enough cash. Like if you were going into this crisis and you had 20% of your money in cash, which by the way is earning about 4.5%. then you would have been able to take advantage of some of these sales. You know, we're having a sale on stock. Stock prices are lower. You would have been able to buy stuff cheaper. Cash is an option to buy something cheaper in the future.
Financial writer Jared Dillian joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. I think a lot of the listeners are vaguely familiar, at least, about the stock markets, right? The S&P, the NASDAQ. But the bond market has been in the headlines the last couple of days. What are we seeing on the bond markets, and how does that impact our listeners?
Yeah, so the bond market has come totally unglued, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 days. And bonds move inversely to interest rates. So when bonds go down, interest rates go up. So we've seen relentless selling in bonds over the last couple days. And the best theory, I mean, look, this should not be happening in a crisis. Usually when stocks are crashing, bonds are ripping, they're going up. And instead, they're getting crushed. So people believe that China, who has $800 billion in treasury bonds, is selling them in retaliation for the tariffs. I 100% believe that theory. 100% believe that theory. I mean, just the other day, like the market was down like 5 or 6%, and the long bond was down like 3%. Interest rates were like 20 basis points higher. It's insanity. So I believe China is out there selling.
I'd never heard that. Okay, that makes sense. You know, we had the punting of the tariffs, except for the ongoing trade war with China, Jared. We had the punting of the tariffs for 90 days. Is that going to be another nerve-wracking time 3 months from now when those tariffs are set to go into effect?
You bet. It sure is. But you know, I don't think the tariffs are really about the 180 other countries in the world. I think it's really about China. I think if we have a 10% tariff globally and 125% on China, I think that's what Trump wants.
Jared, if folks want to find out more about you and your financial advising, where can we hit you up on social media or a website?
JaredDillianMoney.com. That's JaredDillianMoney.com. Got a lot of stuff there, including some educational material, a class on bonds and options.
Love it. Jared, thanks so much for your insight and your time.
Thank you.
All right, the big tariff news, of course. China has hit us with a retaliatory tariff of 125%. Coming up next, what Apple is doing to prepare for that increased tariffs between the United States and China, specifically when it comes to iPhones. But now let's check the ride around town. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Mike Shields.
And Mark, crash investigation and cleanup continues, and that has all lanes still shut down. I-20 westbound at Riverside Parkway, Six Flags over Georgia, exit 46. It's been that way since just after 5 a.m. this morning, and jammed back to 285. 285 impacted in both directions. Traffic diverted off onto Fulton Industrial Boulevard. If you can, use Highway 78 still as an alternate. This report is brought to you by Scott Antique Markets. The Scott Antique Markets is this weekend. There's no telling what you'll find. Visit the Atlanta Expo Centers at I-285 and Jonesboro Road. It's the Scott Antique Markets this weekend. ScottAntiqueMarket.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
This is Anthony George, the pastor of First Baptist Church of Atlanta. Easter Sunday is when we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. And for millions of people around the world, it's also a day when God assures us of His unfailing love. I want to personally invite you to attend one of our Easter morning services at First Baptist Atlanta. To find out more, visit our website at fba.org. We hope to see you there.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Spring cleaning is here. Let Artisan Custom Closets help you maximize your space and get organized. Artisan will work with you to design an affordable luxury custom closet where you'll be able to see all your accessories, clothes, and shoes without rummaging through the clutter. Don't use the pricey West Coast closet company that doesn't customize or the cheap closet companies with pushy salespeople and pricing games. Artisan Custom Closets, affordable luxury. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kids sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited mobile welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
9:53 on this Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show, listening to Yacht Rock Review. In case you missed the announcement earlier in the show, this is super exciting. Next week on the show, twice a day, I believe in the 9 and 11 o'clock hours, you're going to get a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review live at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, Saturday, April 26th, and 2 tickets to a special private appearance by the band live right here in the WSB Live Lounge on Monday, April 21st, hosted by me. Super excited. One of the coolest prizes we've given away. So your chance next week, tickets to their concert at Ameris Bank Amphitheater and a private appearance by the band here at the WSB Live Lounge on Monday, April 21st. We're going to make you earn those, though. Deborah, our boss said that the 755th caller or 955th caller.
955th, yeah.
I mean, that's a really cool prize. While I have you, Deborah, thanks for what those things you made yesterday, the images.
So there's a trend. Yeah, there's a trend going around on social media. I saw it on Twitter where you make an action figure of yourself.
Yes.
And I thought they were kind of funny, so I made one for everyone on the show yesterday.
And they're hilarious. I posted them. Thank you, Deborah, for doing that. That was phenomenal. They're all up on my Instagram account, @MarkArum. Little action figures of Deborah, myself, Longoria, Vinny Bag of Donuts, Vinny Drip. We got to get one for little Gnocchi.
I'm working on Gnocchi, Christina, and some other people.
Okay, very cool. So thank you for that, Deborah. Coming up after the news at 10, we're going to go live to the White House, get any reaction from the White House from the Chinese reciprocal tariffs. But the tariffs that China is hitting back with 125%. Apple, one of the biggest companies on the planet, not sitting on their hands when it comes to tariffs and iPhones.
Apple warned us that with tariffs hitting, the price of an iPhone could cross the $2,000 or even $3,000 mark. And to avoid some of those tariffs, Apple flew 600 tons of their iPhones out of India to try to build up an inventory here in the U.S. Approximately 6 cargo jets filled with 100 tons of phone each flew out of the region. Now, there are tariffs on India as well, but they're much lower than the ones in China. Apple is hoping to increase production in Indian plants by 20%.
I wonder if that's a workaround that Chinese companies can do or American companies can do if they're shipping stuff to China. Instead of importing iPhones from China, China sends them to Penguin Island first, which only has a 10% tariff, and then Penguin Island ships the iPhones. You know what I'm saying? Or if we're exporting soybeans to China, we send them to Canada first, and then Canada. You know what I'm saying? Like a little loophole to get around it. I don't know. Would that cost too much to ship?
And then you still have to pay the import-export from the other countries.
Yeah, but if it's only 10% as opposed to 125%, maybe it makes more sense to just reroute stuff to, we're going to ship our iPhones to the Vatican. There's only a 10% tariff on the Pope. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. We got to get someone from Maersk on, the shipping conglomerate, Maersk. I just love that company. I'm in a quandary. I've got a work phone that desperately needs an upgrade. I should do it before,
I would do it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm worried about the company's bottom line. Who do I talk to? Do I talk to Chris Rotola about that? Drew? You guys don't know. You're not blessed like me to have to.
I don't know.
Yeah, I desperately need. I can't even plug in. I need wireless chargers because my port is so jacked up. So maybe I'll do that after the show today. All right, thank you, Deborah. Look at millions of pounds of iPhone shipped to India to get around the forthcoming Chinese tariffs. Crazy stuff there. All right, speaking of tariffs, China, hit us back with 125% reciprocal. Even heard from the president of China. Have we had reaction yet from the Trump White House? After news, weather, and traffic, we're going to go live to the White House. Senior White House reporter from CBS, Jennifer Jacobs, joins us live next. And the social medias, you want to see those action figure pictures, all of them are at Mark Arum, MarkArum.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Former CIA officer Jason Hansen here. In my line of work, I've seen firsthand how fast the world can change. With rising geopolitical tensions and inflation eating your buying power, it's time to take action. For me, that means gold. And for gold, I exclusively trust Advantage Gold. I urge you to do the same. Call them now at 800-900-8000 for a free gold guide to discover the security that comes with owning precious metals. Again, call 800-900-8000 today.
Paid for by Advantage Gold. Performance may vary. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always consult your financial and tax professional.
So you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that works, but you want the best. It's Mark Arum here. Modern technology, top-rated physicians. You want something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results they produce. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, address them all with a simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough advanced FUE treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. Call 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And don't forget to ask about that advanced hair guarantee. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. A deadly overnight shooting in Covington leaves 2 people dead, 1 critically wounded.
Everyone involved works at the Walmart on Salem Road, which was closed at the time. One man on the overnight crew went outside and returned with a weapon.
Located another certain individual and shot and killed him. As he was on the way out of the store, he located another certain individual and shot him.
Newton County Sergeant Jack Redlinger says the second man is in critical condition. The suspect then drove to a house nearby and shot and killed a female co-worker and then fled the area.
The shooter left in his vehicle and went to Aiken, South Carolina, where he was apprehended.
Investigators are still looking into motives for the shootings. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, how about your weather to kick off the weekend? Partly to mostly cloudy today. A few scattered showers are possible, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitt. Your afternoon high right there around 66. You'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. Update on a red alert this morning in Cobb County. We were telling you about it on I-20. We've now learned 1 person was killed. This was on I-20 at the Riverside Parkway exit near Six Flags. The accident shutting down the interstate in both directions. No names or any other details being released at this time. The Newton County Sheriff's Office this morning is asking for your help in locating a K-9 officer, Petra, a bloodhound who went missing from her handler's home on Berkshire Run in Covington sometime before 2 o'clock Thursday. Petra is black and brown in color, weighs about 50 pounds, and is microchipped. If you have seen her or believe you may have seen her on Thursday, you're being asked to contact 911 immediately. Now your money. Stocks are wrapping up a volatile week on Wall Street. The major averages opening lower and have been up and down ever since. And this comes as China raised tariffs on U.S. imports to 125%, but said it wouldn't go higher. Elsewhere, the European Union said that it's sending its trade representative to Washington on Sunday to, quote, try and sign deals. Let's take a look at the markets right now. We're right now in the green. The Dow's up 2 at 39,595. NASDAQ is also in positive territory, so is the S&P. And speaking of being in Washington, the president is seeing his doctor today. Karen Travers has more on that.
President Trump undergoes his annual physical exam today at Walter Reed. The president posted on social media this week, quote, "I have never felt better, but nevertheless, these things must be done." Mr. Trump in January became the oldest American to be sworn in as president at 78 years old. The most comprehensive details about his health are from more than 7 years ago. The most recent details came in a 3-paragraph letter from his personal physician in November 2023, in which the doctor wrote Trump's overall health is, quote, excellent.
And round 2 of the Masters is underway this morning in Augusta, and one of the greatest baseball players of all times is at the Masters. He's working the tournament. Ken Griffey Jr. is working the tournament as a credentialed photographer for Masters.com. The Hall of Famer baseball player has shared his sports photography work dating back to at least 2015. He's been spotted shooting NFL and MLS games as well. It's 10:03. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Andrew Seco. He has a look at your roads.
Good morning, but not a good morning for those outbound to Lithia Springs. The West Freeway still looking really tough. Long-standing crash investigation leaving things locked up. 20 westbound Riverside Parkway, exit 46. Traffic still being diverted onto Fulton Industrial Boulevard, seeing those delays on the inner and outer loops as well. Merging into I-20. No estimated clearing time with this. We will keep you updated in the meantime. Highway 78 is your clear alternate as you're in and out of the Lithia Springs area. We did just watch some trouble clear out of Norcross, in and out of that left lane very quickly. 85 south, all lanes back open, getting past Indian Trail Road, exit 101. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Mid-60s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A few stray showers or storms, no severe weather threat, and gusty winds. Blowing a drier air, we'll have sunshine on Saturday. Stay breezy, low 45, high 64.
56 degrees right now in Buckhead. It's 53 in Milton, Powder Springs. You have 55 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Friday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole gang with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Lil Gnocchi. screens your calls. 30 minutes from now, political analyst Bill Crane's going to join us live. 1 hour from now, a DNA expert from Georgia Tech is going to join us live, give us the lowdown on those newly minted dire wolves. But obviously the top story again this morning, the tariff situation.
I think it's very close, but we have to have a deal that we like. We don't want a deal that's going to be a bad deal, or I could make every deal in one day if I wanted to. I could do this in one day. I could just say, here's what we'll do.
President Trump at the cabinet meeting yesterday at the White House. Joining us live now on the show, CBS News senior White House reporter Jennifer Jacobs. Jennifer, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. Great to be here.
All right, so let's start with the China's retaliatory tariffs. What do we know about those right now?
Right. So overnight, China retaliated against President Trump's latest tariffs on U.S. goods. China said the administration's actions are a, quote, joke, and suggested that it would be silly to just keep matching these up and down, increasing, escalating tariff moves. So this might be the last tit for tat for China. They did increase tariffs on U.S. imports to 125%. But in a statement, the Chinese finance ministry said, look, even if the U.S. continues to impose higher tariffs, it would no longer have any economic significance, and it would go down as a joke in the history of world economics, and we're not going to respond. So that's where we are, is we're at 145% tariffs on some goods imported to the U.S. from China, and we're at 125% on China. So that's where it stands as of now.
I mean, in the world of global politics and finance, calling this a joke seems to be a direct attack at President Trump. Have we heard from the White House yet this morning responding to the Chinese retaliatory tariffs?
Yeah, great question. The president did post on his Truth social media casting his tariffs plan in general as a win. So this morning he posted, quote, "We are doing really well on our tariff policy. Very exciting for America and the world," with three exclamation points. And then he said, "It is moving along quickly, DJT," unquote. So he was talking more generally about his tariff plan being a general win. He didn't respond specifically about China. Now, the U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer, told us outside the West Wing this morning that he is not talking to China at this point. So he said, we are just making phone calls with others. He mentioned Vietnam and India and a few other countries, but he said it sounds like the U.S. is waiting for China to make the first phone calls to the U.S. to start negotiations.
Just looking at the scene, I mean, this has been an ongoing tariff situation since the second Trump presidency. But now, are we seeing the forest through the trees that it didn't, the tariffs against Argentina and Jamaica and Bangladesh, that was really, they were non-starters. This has always been about our trade deficit with China.
It has been about China. It's also, for President Trump, it's been about the European Union. He has a lot of grievances about the European Union and some imbalances there. And also some of our close allies, South Korea and Japan, Brazil. He does not like that the U.S. gets the short shrift on some of this, and he is trying to level the playing field across the board. But yes, you're correct that China is a big target of this. But that U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer said he has calls today with Israel, also a major ally, Taiwan. He said, quote unquote, "I have a full dance card today." So it sounds like the president and his representatives are trying to defy expectations. They're trying to downplay what this could mean for American households. In fact, Jameson Greer this morning said in the first term, we put a lot of tariffs on China, and there was a lot of predictions about what would happen, and those ended up being wrong. So the Trump administration is still sticking to their rhetoric that this will end up being a win for America.
Yeah, to be fair, those tariffs against China in the first Trump administration were held by President Biden during his administration. I'm glad you brought up the EU, because where do we stand with tariffs with the EU and Canada and Mexico this morning, Jennifer?
So on the EU, we have been hearing from European officials. So President Macron posted on social media that the Europeans need to stick together, France intends to stand firm on its position. He mentioned how much tariff there is on European goods right now on U.S. imports. He said it's just too much money. So the Europeans are still voicing concerns. Canada has weighed in. They have said that they will begin negotiations on new security and economic agreements, but not until after the Canadian federal elections, which are at the end of this month.
Interesting. Are you going to get the weekend off? Is the president heading to Mar-a-Lago? What's his schedule look like this weekend?
He is heading out of town. We expect him to do some golfing this weekend. And no time off for White House reporters.
Understood. Well, front row to history, Jennifer. Front row to history. Jennifer Jacobs, senior White House reporter for CBS. Jennifer, thanks for your time. Hope you have a relaxing weekend at least.
Thank you so much. You too.
There you go. Obviously, we're going to monitor the retaliations. And the big question mark is, if there is going to be a negotiation between the United States and China, what will that look like? President Trump wants to meet with the Chinese president face-to-face and really have the two top dogs fight it out. But China would rather start with lower-level diplomats. And then the big question is, where would it take place? I can't imagine President Trump going to Beijing. And I can't imagine the Chinese president coming to D.C. All right, checking the markets. Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all up about 0.5%. So good news on the markets this morning. Let's turn our attention to the Supreme Court. Joining us from ABC News, he covered the court system. It's John Cohen, who also used to work closely with ICE, leading nation immigration enforcement efforts. John, good morning. Thanks for your time. A rare unanimous decision yesterday from the Supreme Court.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court decided unanimously that the individual from Maryland who was, in the words of the administration, removed in error to El Salvador is afforded, like others, due process rights, and the circumstances and the information supporting his removal is subject to judicial review. Now, the challenge is that he's already down in El Salvador, and the administration has said that it would be difficult, if not impossible, for him to be returned. Well, the court said not so fast. They agreed with the district court judge that said that the administration did need to facilitate the return of that individual.
Is this going to change protocol moving forward now when it comes to future deportees?
Well, we're beginning to see a pattern. This is now the second decision by the Supreme Court that has sent a very clear message to the administration that whether they are removing somebody under provisions of the Immigration and Nationalization Act or through more extreme circumstances such as the Alien Enemies Act, which gives the president significant unilateral authorities, that these individuals must be notified in advance of the government's intent to remove them and must have the opportunity to challenge the underlying information. This is a real potential problem for the administration because they've kind of made one cardinal mistake in the way that they have implemented their approach to immigration enforcement. They've let the exaggerated rhetoric that they used very effectively in the political campaign inform the development of operational plans. And generally, in the 40-plus years that I've been doing this, I have found that not to be positive. So now, because of these two Supreme Court decisions, every single one of these people who have been removed to El Salvador because the administration claims they're terrorists or that they're engaged in criminal activity has the right to challenge and the information that the administration has that supports those claims. And what we've seen so far is that in many of these cases, those claims are a little sketchy. In fact, in one of the declarations that the administration filed during these proceedings, the individual from ICE said a number of these people, they have no criminal histories and we have no specific information regarding terrorism activities, and then claimed that makes them even more dangerous, which, again, having been in court and faced the withering scrutiny of federal and state judges when I've sought to put people in jail, that's not going to fly well. So this may be an unforced error that not only makes it more difficult for the Trump administration going forward, but may seriously curtail future administrations from being innovative in attacking major issues relating to terrorism, crime, and violence.
John Cohen joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. With that ruling, do the folks that, aside from the one that was misappropriated to El Salvador, Salvador. The other deportees that were sent to El Salvador, do they have any now rights to appeal after the Supreme Court decision?
Yes, the Supreme Court said that they can file what is called a habeas petition. And that means that they can go to the district court, which some have, and say that they want to challenge the evidence that was used or the information that was used to effectuate the removal. And the district court has elected to hear that information. Now, this becomes, again, awkward for the administration because it's really unclear what our relationship, at least based on public knowledge, what our relationship is with the El Salvadorians and the facility that they're using to house these people. In some reports, we're hearing that the administration is actually paying for them to house these individuals, which means that they would be acting as an agent for the administration. In other cases, it's being described as those people are being deported to El Salvador. But that is strange because you can't deport someone to a country other than the country that they come from. And so deporting someone to El Salvador when they're Venezuelan is inconsistent with federal law and international treaties. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And my concern as someone who has run these types of operations across the nation and internationally, sloppy operations generally lead to more restrictions and more complication going forward. So one of the things I'm going to be looking forward to see is how sloppy these initial operations were and what the impact is going to be for the president to achieve one of his most significant policy priorities.
Final question for you, John. After the decision came down yesterday, I saw both sides kind of declare victory on this. What's the DOJ, the Trump administration's claim to victory after this decision?
Yeah, well, that's, again, it's not just, my concerns aren't just with the operational planning, but it's also with the communication strategy. So they're spinning it as this was a victory for the administration because the court said that the president has foreign policy prerogatives. Well, that's true. But the most important part of this decision was that the court, again, unanimously affirmed that these individuals who are subject to removal are afforded due process. And that means that they have to be notified prior to their removal. They have to have the right to go into court and challenge the grounds for the removal. And what we've seen thus far, and this may change, but what we've seen thus far, the underlying information the administration has been very slow to reveal that.
John, as always, thanks for your expertise and your insight. Really appreciate it.
Good talking to you. Talk to you soon.
Now, not often you see a 9-0 vote from the Supreme Court justices. Good stuff there from John Cohen, ABC News, who is heavily involved in ICE procedures in the past. All right, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up a little smidge. In the green, though, that's the good news. Coming up next, we're going to head to Bloomberg News. Big news yesterday from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directing the termination of more than $5 billion in contracts. We'll get an update on that story after we check traffic. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Andrew Seco.
And we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, or in our case, the light at the end of the overpass. Lanes are reopening once again. I-20 westbound at Riverside Parkway, exit 46, finally seeing some movement. Those delays are thinning out gradually, but this was a long closure. About 5 hours we saw this shut down, so those delays are a little tough backing you to 285, as well as onto the inner and outer loop, so you'll want to keep using Highway 78. That is a perfect alternate until the West Freeway is in a little better shape. This is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free shipping. Add code radio for an extra 5% off. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise me.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's time to get rid of the pollen, dust, and allergens in your home the easy way with Zerorez Air Duct Experts. Just picture it. The Zerorez pros come in, the dust, pollen, and allergens go out. Plus, right now, if you mention me, Chris Chandler, you get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. $50 off. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZerorezAtlanta.com today. And ask about Zerorez commercial cleaning, too. All they leave is clean.
Get Easter favorites at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on no antibiotics ever bone-in spiral cut pork hams with Prime through April 15th. Carve into this juicy, sweet centerpiece for your celebratory spread. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelley Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
For many women in our community, support for our physical and mental health feels out of reach.
When your workday is long.
And your budget is tight.
And your village is busy.
And the road between home and help is a 6-lane highway with no crosswalk.
Northside Hospital believes women deserve better.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
We got your house call.
Heard.
Learn more at northside.com/heard.
This was my boyhood dream. Game day in the NFL. And that dream came true for me. Everything was going great for 7 years until one wrong hit put an end to everything. Hi, this is former NFL tight end Mitch Lyons. I was blindsided that fateful Sunday in the NFL, and that injury flipped all my plans upside down. Today, I see how retirement plans can be blindsided. Sudden, unexpected setbacks can jeopardize the goals and dreams you've saved for. That's why at MitchLyonsWealth.com, we show you winning strategies for protecting your savings, maximizing growth, and avoiding common retirement fumbles. MitchLyonsWealth.com helps take your retirement plans into the end zone for a strong finish. Give us a call at 888-471-3896. That's 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Avoid the stress of preparing to sell your home. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the hassle of spring cleaning and sell your home for maximum value. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Spring is the time of year when everything blooms, including love. If you're thinking about proposing this spring, visit my friends at Tara Fine Jewelry Company in Beaufort. They can educate you in the engagement ring process and help you pick that perfect ring for your perfect partner. Tara Fine Jewelry in Beaufort, just 3 miles from the Mall of Georgia, but miles apart in service and selection. Specializing in love since 1985, Tara Fine Jewelry.
When divorce places your home, finances, or kids in jeopardy, Cordell & Cordell is here to fight to protect your interests. Cordell & Cordell is committed to advocating for your rights in divorce and family law matters. Call today for a consultation and details on our military service member pricing.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Atlanta area attorneys. 404-793-0000. 1 Glen Lake Parkway Northeast, Suite 975, Atlanta, Georgia 30328. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner. CordellCordell.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Right now, get 4 windows free with every 4 you buy, plus no interest for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases. And RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you. And learn more at heart.org/RSV.
We have liftoff. We have liftoff right on time. Tremendous amounts of fire showering out the little yaw vehicle motion. She's cleared the tower. She's cleared the tower.
55 years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio. Any guess what that was? That was Tom Hanks lifted off on Apollo 13. Not really Tom Hanks, Jim Lovell. But, 55 years ago today, Apollo 13 blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center on a mission to the moon. That was correspondent Reed Collins describing the liftoff. An onboard explosion, as you might remember from the movie 2 days later, forced the mission to be shortened. The spacecraft made a dramatic and dangerous return to the Earth 55 years ago today, Apollo 13. You know, it took me years before I watched Apollo 13 because I don't like knowing movies where I know the ending. You know, it's like I know what happens I know they come back safe. That's why I didn't watch Titanic for years. Like, it sinks. I know. Why do I going to watch a movie on this? But Apollo 13 is a really good movie. Really good movie. Anyway, that was 15. By the way, I said we were going to Bloomberg News to check on the Defense Secretary's cuts. JK, I got my lines crossed. That's at 11:22. We're going to talk to Roxana Tyron from Bloomberg News. I can confirm that some of my pre-tariff orders arrived yesterday, but not my deodorant.
I thought you were supposed to get that the next day.
Well, when I freaked out and ordered the deodorant on Amazon, I also said, well, I'm on Amazon. I might as well buy other stuff. So I got like baseball card supplies and all these other knickknacks and tchotchkes. So when I saw the delivery from Amazon, I was like, oh, my $300 worth of deodorant, pre-tariff deodorant was delivered, but it's not there. So I am hoarding deodorant in front of the tariffs. Apparently, other folks are hoarding canned food, which might not be a bad idea.
Anticipation over President Trump's tariffs has triggered a run on canned food. Numbers from the research marketing agency Consumer Edge show Americans bought nearly 30% more shelf-stable veggies last weekend than the one before, as they prepared for potentially higher prices and limited product availability from countries in Central and South America. The data also show consumers spent more per supermarket visit overall, purchasing 21% more instant coffee, 18% more ketchup, and 3% more beer. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS
That's
News.
That's it, 3% more beer. I'm not a canned veggie kind of guy. I'll get canned corn on occasion. Usually I go for the frozen, the Publix frozen aisle where you get the frozen bags of vegetables. But I'll tell you what, the greatest canned veggie of all time, Deborah, you're going to puke when I tell you.
Uh-oh.
Canned wax beans.
What?
They used to serve them in an elementary school cafeteria when I was growing up. They'd have the open-faced hot turkey sandwich with gravy, mashed potatoes, and then these canned waxed beans. And I just love them. I mean, they don't taste like anything. They look horrible. But maybe I'll go stack up. I'm going to be the only person in North America stocking up on canned wax beans. I just think
I've never seen them in my life.
Do you eat them straight out of the can?
Well, I heat them up first.
Well, that's how they're.
And you
really
can church
good.
them up. You put Parmesan cheese on them, or garlic salt, or that's my fave. That's the goat when it comes to canned vegetables, the canned wax. Deborah's size. I don't want to ruin your feaster, Deborah, which is just a couple of weeks away. Not even that long. All right. Thank you to Deborah Rodriguez and to Deborah Green. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, so excited. Welcoming back with open arms, political analyst Bill Crane's going to join us live. Social medias are active at Mark Airman at WSB Radio.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda's proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Do you frequently ask family and friends to repeat themselves? Do you struggle to understand conversations when you're at a restaurant, missing important life moments? Hi, this is Dr. Prince from Atlanta Hearing Associates, and we can help you hear better again. At Atlanta Hearing Associates, we combine the latest technology with compassionate care given by doctors of audiology to help you successfully manage hearing loss and get back to enjoying your life to the fullest. We offer hearing tests for individuals of all ages with easy online scheduling at HearAtlanta.com. Symptoms: your hearing is muffled or words are not clear. It's difficult to hear when there is background noise. You turn the TV volume way up. If you noticed any of these symptoms, it's time to have a hearing test. Come on in and see us at Atlanta Hearing Associates. Easy online scheduling is available at HearAtlanta.com. HEAR Atlanta.com.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. At $9.95, you get a quarter-carat pair of studs for free. $24.95, we'll give you half-carat studs. And at $99.95, you're going home with a full-carat pair of studs on us. They're real, natural diamonds, hand-selected for brilliance and the perfect match. Because our studs aren't just any studs, they're D. Geller diamonds. And here's the real magic. Shopping for your wife? Tuck those studs away for your anniversary. Upgrading your ring? Surprise your daughter with her first pair of diamonds. Or if you're shopping for her birthday, now you've got brownie points with the in-laws too. Or hey, keep the studs for yourself. We're not judging. No matter how you spin it, there's no better deal in jewelry than Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Let's start with something positive. It's springtime in Atlanta, so you know what that means.
It's time for the Dogwood Festival. In addition to the fine art that'll be on display in the artist market, what else can we expect this year?
We've got a Jimi Hendrix tribute on Friday night. We've got a great Brit rock band on Saturday. We've got a fireworks show. We've got a VIP area there with food and wine tastings, beer tastings.
Festival Executive Director Brian Hill tells me that the food court area will be phenomenal as well. The Dogwood Festival goes on today, tomorrow, and wraps up Sunday at Piedmont Park. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
And the weather should be pretty nice for it today. Partly to mostly cloudy. Only a few scattered showers possible and a high of 66, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. A wild scene at a Covington Walmart after an employee opens fire on co-workers.
They're all employees and all acquaintances.
Investigators are calling this a targeted shooting. Newton County Sheriff Jack Redlinger says only employees were inside the store on Salem Road when it happened around 2 a.m. For some reason, the suspect left.
Yeah, he was inside and he left the store, went out and got a weapon, and he came back inside the store.
And that's when he shot and killed a co-worker. He went back out to the parking lot, shot and wounded another co-worker, and then took off. He was at a home about a mile away. Investigators went there. They found a woman shot to death at that home on Emerson Trail. The total number of victims is 3. Eventually, they were able to track down the suspect in Aiken, South Carolina. That's about 2 hours away from here. They're not naming the suspects or the victims at this particular time. Happening now, dive teams in New York City are resuming their efforts to recover more wreckage from the sightseeing helicopter that crashed into the Hudson River. 6 people killed. Sam Brock reporting this morning the chopper was operated by New York Helicopter, and it's unknown what went wrong.
In an interview with The Telegraph, the owner of New York Helicopter Tours telling the paper that the pilot had called in that he was landing and that he needed fuel, and it should have taken him about 3 minutes to arrive, but 20 minutes later, he didn't arrive, adding, "We're all devastated."
The chopper was seen falling apart midair before plunging into the river yesterday afternoon. Well, there's always some controversy regarding changing the clocks twice a year. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill now pushing to lock the clocks.
Research has shown that the abrupt shift in time, especially the spring transition, when we lose an hour of sleep, causes sleep deprivation.
That is Senator Ted Cruz. He led a bipartisan hearing this week looking into the effects of time change. The Texas Republican says it was meant to curb energy use, but studies show that's not happening. A bill dubbed the Sunshine Protection Act would make daylight saving time the year-round standard. The city of Mableton plans to keep its property taxes at 0 for a 3rd consecutive year.
The city announces it will not adopt a millage rate for 2025, making it the only city in Cobb County that doesn't levy a municipal property tax on its residents. Instead, the city's revenue is based on commercial taxes, utility franchise fees, and targeted service fees. Residents will still need to pay taxes to the county. That format's similar to the recently incorporated city of Mulberry in Gwinnett County, which promises no city property taxes.
Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Update on an alleged Ponzi scheme involving a man from Alpharetta. A federal judge says the alleged operator of the $300 million Ponzi scheme is subject to injunctions preventing further securities law violations. The ruling also said that Russell Todd Burkhalter, head of Drive Planning LLC, cannot serve as an officer or director of a company registered with the SEC. According to the order, Burkhalter neither admits nor denies the allegations. And Euphoria and Grey's Anatomy actor Eric Dane announcing that he's been diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a rare degenerative disease that causes progressive paralysis of the muscles. There is no cure. Dane says he still plans to continue working in Hollywood despite the diagnosis. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red now. The Dow's down 123 at 39,469. NASDAQ is also down slightly, so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
All right, Sabrina, let's take one more look at the West Freeway in much better shape than we've seen in most of the evening. Long-standing crash investigation is gone, and those speeds have improved drastically. I-20 westbound at Riverside Parkway, exit 46. We do have a little stoppage on the inner and outer loops as you're merging onto I-20, but those will thin out quite gradually as well. Talked about the West Freeway for so long. Let's go talk about the East Freeway. Seeing some road work in the right lane. I-20 eastbound, slowing down a bit between Wesley Chapel Road and Panola Road, exit 68 and 71. And watching a cone zone up in Dunwoody. We're in the right lane, 285 eastbound, the inner loop as you ramp onto Wesley Chapel Road, or onto Ashford Dunwoody Road, rather. That's exit 29. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Headed to 66 today with a few stray showers or storms, but no threat for severe weather. Drying and clearing overnight, headed down towards a low 45. Sunny, breezy Saturday, high 64.
56 degrees in Duluth. It's 59 in Conyers. Johns Creek, you have 57 degrees. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
We had very good inflation numbers today. Oil's down. We had a successful bond market.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the tariff news and the political impact possibly with them. Political analyst Bill Crane joins us live next on the Mark Arum Show.
So how do we create value? This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. Value comes from having complete control over our product quality. From design to manufacturing to delivery, everything is handled in-house by our trained professionals. This approach allows us to maintain strict quality standards and respond quickly to customer needs. We believe true value is created when a company takes full responsibility for its products. When you choose OMF, you're getting a mattress built with care and attention at every step. OriginalMattress.com.
City of Hope, a place where seemingly impossible blood cancers become treatable, curable. With more than 19,000 bone marrow transplants performed, we're the largest and most successful program in the U.S., making major breakthroughs in treating leukemia, lymphoma, and rare blood cancers, personalizing a treatment plan right down to your DNA. Now the experts striving to make the impossible a reality are closer to home. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
10:38 on this gorgeous Friday in Atlanta. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show at 10:38, monitoring the markets. Big local story I want to update, including Emory students with visas running into some trouble, and we're going to obviously update the markets. And then at 10:05, this is huge, DNA expert, professor from Georgia Tech is going to join us live, talk about those new direwolf pups that were just created in the lab. But first and foremost, welcoming back with open arms political analyst Bill Crane. Bill, good morning, my friend. How you feeling?
I'm feeling well and great to be back, Marcus, and there's nothing we need more than a 12,000-year-old werewolf.
Exactly right. Before we get politics, I know you went public with the health situation. Do you want to just let the listeners know that didn't know why you've been out for a couple of weeks?
Sure. I was diagnosed with a pretty aggressive colon cancer called adenocarcinoma with signet ring cell features. I had my colon and 46 lymph nodes removed. The good news is only one of those lymph nodes was compromised by the cancer. The surgery went well. I've been recovering from that, and I start chemotherapy in about a week, and I'm going to kick those signet ring cells butt.
Yeah, good stuff. Great to hear. How you feeling, by the way, though? I mean, did the surgery knock it
I've
out of
been
you?
walking about a mile a day and trying to do the exercises they will allow me to do. I'm going to start my yoga practice back shortly because I think that was really critical on the front end of the surgery.
Interesting.
And I'm keeping my spirits up. I mean, it's an inconvenience and there's some pain. I had my chemo port installed on Wednesday morning, and Thursday I felt like somebody beat the crap out of me, but I'm fine today. So it's just one step at a time, but I'll get there.
Well, listen, I mean, if you can't join us on a Friday, just let us know because obviously your health is first and foremost. What was how did you get diagnosed, if you don't mind me asking?
I had a regular colonoscopy in January, as I've had for many years, because I have a chronic condition that I no longer have because I don't have a colon, but it's called ulcerative colitis.
Okay.
And they spotted this little tiny white dot on their way out, and everything else was fine. In fact, the ulcerative colitis, the underlying condition, was almost in full remission. But that dot was very rapidly growing, and the next time they looked at it 30 days later, it was black, and it had tentacles growing up inside the sigmoid colon, and basically my surgeon said, we got to get it out of there. You're going to be fighting a battle you can't win. So we moved the surgery up, and it's a very intense few weeks, and that's why I've been off the air, but I'm very glad to be back. I like working better than resting. I've never been very much of a natural rester.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you back. And a reminder to everyone listening, get that colonoscopy done, my friends. All right, so not much in the world happened while you've been in sick bay, Bill.
No, it was really quiet, and that's why I was glad I was able to take some rest while the tariffs went crazy and the world kind of...
the tariff, it's full-on trade war right now between the United States and China. We got the 90-day pause on the tariffs for the rest of the world. We haven't talked since this whole thing started. Your initial take on all these tariffs?
I understand to a degree what President Trump and his administration are attempting to do. I think he has kind of a core confusion with what the difference between a trade deficit and a budget deficit are. The United States has the largest economy in the world. We have the strongest consumer purchasing power. And as a result, it's going to be very difficult for any country, particularly those smaller nations, to ever have an equal level of imports of our goods as we are going to be importing from them simply because we have greater purchasing power. I like the fact that the president listened to the markets, to consumers, to his advisors, and paused, and I think the majority of countries, the tariffs down to 10% instead of some of the wild numbers we were in, like 54% for India, which is where we get most of our generic drugs, which are disproportionately impacting seniors and those on a fixed income, insured basis, Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera. I'm deeply concerned about the long-term impacts of this trade war with China and 145% tariffs. If you think about it, you're a U.S. farmer, you grow corn, barley, soybeans, what have you, that's exported to China, or coal that's coming out of Pennsylvania or Kentucky or West Virginia. And next week, it's 145% more expensive in China for the government, for those merchants, for those wholesalers, et cetera, to buy. So what do you think they will do?
Get it elsewhere.
They will source those things elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we have the largest poultry market in the world is Georgia, and all the parts of the chicken you and I don't eat, the toes and the gizzards and all these other things. There's a company called AJC International that ships that to China, and they dip the chicken feed in chocolate, and it's a delicacy over there. But Chinese incomes are not as elastic as ours, are not going to pay 150% more for the same product. So I think the near term will be pain to our exporters, a lot of which are, agrarian products, and pain to our consumers as we have to pay that much more on this end for many of the things we purchase without even thinking about in the grocery store and elsewhere made in China, including if you go to Trump Plaza in New York and go into the Trump gift shop and start shopping, turn over the boxes and note where most of that stuff is manufactured, and it's not the United States.
I've said, Bill, for a while now that, I understand President Trump's desire to lessen the trade deficit we have with China, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty symbiotic relationship, right? We need the stuff that China has, and China needs the stuff that we have. So at the end of the day, there's got to be some way to, these two world superpowers to get together and settle this thing once and for all.
He wants to project strength. I get that. He wants to project that he cuts deals quickly, which they're hopefully doing now with 70 nations who already called and come to the table. If I were China, and I'm not advising them, but if I were China, I think I might just fire up one of those destroyers and take Taiwan, change the discussion, and see if, in terms of talking strong and projecting strength, if that means we'll follow up on the treaty we have with Taiwan to protect them if they are invaded by China. And what does that tell me? And you get to high stakes poker, and you're a poker player like this, you don't tend to be looking across the table at the soft player.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody we're going to engage, I think long term is a threat to us in addition to Russia, it's China. So I would be handling this differently, but I'm not seeing it stay.
Oh, we lost Bill. Political analyst Bill Crane joining us live. That's a shame. You know what? We have more next week to talk. I got to get Bill's reaction to Sine Die and the new entrance to the 2026 governor's race. Apparently, former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is going to throw her hat into the ring. But it's so good to have Bill back on. All right, updating the markets while we have a second. They've been mostly green, and they're down a little bit. Dow's down 42 points. That's nothing. NASDAQ's up 20 points. So no major swings on the market today. That's the last thing we need. Get agita watching the markets. We will update the markets for you throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. All right, I mentioned this local story involving Emory University and visas.
4 individuals at Emory University had their student visas terminated by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. 1 is a current student, the 3 others are alumni, and the alumni are allowed to stay here under the university's immigration sponsorship as long as they're completing their postgraduate training. Once a student's student and visa visitor record is terminated, they no longer have legal status in the country, and they can be detained by immigration. Emory has not been notified why their visas were terminated.
Interesting. All right, so we'll monitor that story. The visa process, and that might be something that eventually the Trump administration and ICE look at instead of focusing on, Joe Biden's open border and et cetera, et cetera. There are a significant amount of people in this country that have overstayed their visas. They had a work visa that ran for 3 years, and 20 years later, they're still here. Student visas that run for 4 years, and that was 20. That might be a way, because at some point, ICE is going to have nothing to do. They have all this power, and they already got everyone out. They might start focusing at folks that overstay their visas. Full disclosure, Deborah, I don't know much about the visa. Like some countries, you need a visa to go to. Like I think I needed one to go to Costa Rica, maybe. I don't know how that all that works. I can't. I don't know. Are you?
I think it depends on what you're going to be doing there.
Eating.
I don't think you need a visa to eat.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some countries though that you don't need a visa to go to, but I don't understand all that. Maya explains it to me. She says, hey, we need a visa to go to this country. Okay, baby, let's do it. All right. Anyway, that's an interesting story. Students at Emory with their student visas being revoked. Please keep us up to date on that story, Deborah. All right, when we come back, we'll head back up to D.C., get the latest on the tariff reactions and the markets. Don't forget, starting next week, this is a monster promotion. Starting Monday, we are going to be giving away tickets to see Yacht Rock Review, right? Everyone loves Yacht Rock Review. Phenomenal stuff. We have tickets to see them at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on Saturday, April 26th. But we are also giving away 2 tickets every 2 hours on Monday for a special private appearance by Yacht Rock Review live right here in the WSB Live Lounge on Monday, April 21st. Like an intimate, small performance. I'm going to be hosting it. Yacht Rock Review is going to be playing in it. You could be in the WSB Live Lounge audience enjoying a cold beverage, maybe. Maybe we can get this thing catered by Public. I don't know. I'm excited. It's one of the most phenomenal prizes we've ever given away on WSB Radio, and it starts next week. Starting right now, though, let's check the traffic on this Getaway Friday. How we doing, Andrew Seco?
Good for the most part, working well for this point in the morning. We do have a couple of volume spots here. I-20 on the west side working a lot better, but what do you know, there is a little bit of stoppage on the inner loop. 285 north might have something jamming up. When you get to Hollowell Parkway, that's exit 12 from the west to the east freeway. Road work in the right lane, 20 eastbound. That's between Wesley Chapel Road and Panola Road. Still have that right lane blocked on the ramp in Dunwoody. 285 east heading to Ashford Dunwoody Road. That's exit 29. And a little bit of a slow spot as you're leaving Duluth. 85 south on and off those brakes. Highway 316 down towards Beaver Ruin Road, exit 102. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
I try even when I don't agree.
The opinions expressed are his.
To at least exercise some basic empathy.
And that's what makes you listen.
Coming in like a wrecking ball, taking it all out. It's fantastic.
Eric Erickson.
Today, starting at noon.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Looking to get organized in style? The brand new Artisan Custom Closet showroom is now open near Trilla Studios in Fayetteville. Come experience the Artisan difference. Meet with a designer for your free consultation and start your custom project today. See more at artisancustomclosets.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I know we just started spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Belinda here for Atlanta Vision Institute. I'm here to introduce you to a new procedure that Dr. Ashraf is performing called laser optics. This changed my life, folks. I was so tired of wearing contacts and glasses. The glasses were not around when I needed them. I had astigmatism, so the contacts didn't fit me well, and I had beginning stages of cataracts. So I went in. I was a great candidate for laser optics. It was a quick quick, painless procedure. The next day, it was like everything was in HD. The colors were more vibrant. The leaves were more vibrant. The sky was more vibrant. My husband was better looking. Everything was great. Laser Optics with Dr. Ashraf, Atlanta Vision Institute. Go to the website 2020atlanta.com to find out more information. Also, take the quiz to see if this is a procedure that's good for you. Your medical insurance may cover it. That's 2020atlanta.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Atlanta, take advantage of Zero Res Carpet Cleaning's huge spring break sale. For this spring break, you can take 50% off standard carpet cleaning. Mention me, Chris Chandler, when calling or schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, all they leave is clean.
Ay, ay, ay. Love this song. Happy 59th birthday to Lisa Stansfield. I know she was from Great Britain. This is her first hit on both sides of the pond. Been Around the World. Lisa Stansfield, 59 years old. Been around the world tonight. Why'd you cut the music long, Gore? I can't go a cappella. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. I do want to update the Masters leaderboard. I really don't, but I'm going to do it anyway. Justin Rose still 7 under. Bryson DeChambeau is second at -4. Scotty Scheffler also at -4. There's the Masters update. Bill Caiaccio is in Augusta. The drive to Augusta is not great. It's not horrible. The drive to Savannah and Tybee Island is really bad, but maybe there's an option in the future, Deborah?
GDOT is considering a daily passenger train between Atlanta and Savannah, hoping to not only alleviate some traffic, but to spur tourism down to the coast as well. It's not known where the funding would come from yet, but the estimated cost is $10 million, and other cities might benefit as well. Athens, Macon, Milledgeville, and Statesboro were all named as potential stops.
That's got to be $10 billion, Deborah, right? $10 million. They would have built a train from here to my house for $10 million. $10 billion, I think, was the number. I'm all for it. Like, I love the Georgia coast and Savannah. That I-16 drive is just it's the worst. The highlight now, at least you can drive by that big, was it a Kia plant or a Hyundai plant? Like, it looks like it's this huge structure. But that's one of the reasons why I don't go, just that drive. If they give me a train from here to Savannah, hell yeah, I would do it. The only problem is, I'm thinking of people that want to go to the beach at like Tybee or St. Simon's. You got to get in a train with all your beach stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard.
But I'm all for it. Yeah, let's do that high-speed rail to Savannah. I think that would spur on tourism, economy, whatever. Oh, by the way, Deborah, have you reached out to the Ports Authority in Georgia?
I did. I'm waiting to hear back. I sent them an email a couple days ago.
I guarantee, because those dudes at the Port Authority make so much money, they're all at Augusta National this week because they can afford the tickets. They're private jets and everything. I just want to see what the tariff impacts might have on the Georgia port system. All right. Yeah, I'm all for a train to Savannah. I just like that drive. Dow's down a smidge. NASDAQ's down a smidge. Nothing to freak out about, folks. It'll probably be in the green before we get off the air. Coming up next, I am so excited about this. You heard about the new dire wolves that were birthed out of a DNA test tube kind of milkshake thing. We're going to talk to a DNA expert from Georgia Tech live next. I want to talk about dire wolves, mastodons, woolly mammoths. Very excited. Live next on The Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing, hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news brought to you by Xfinity, the next generation 10G network. Our top story is an update on the trade war. China has raised its tariffs on the United States to 125%. It has been a back-and-forth game between the two countries that doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon. Correspondent Anna Corin reporting on the situation from Hong Kong and highlights China's possible next move.
Used to be defiant in the face of even higher tariffs, describing U.S. actions as a joke, while raising the level of its own tariffs to 125%, effectively ending trade between the world's two largest economies. It comes after President Trump again increased tariffs on China to 145%.
And the European Union saying that they are sending their trade representative to Washington, D.C. on Sunday to, quote, try and sign deals. As we take a look at the markets right now, we are in the red. The Dow down 142 at 39,451. NASDAQ is also down slightly, and so is the S&P. Your weather for today. Partly to mostly cloudy. A few scattered showers are possible. Headed for an afternoon high of 66. As Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz, he'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Cobb County's newest city plans to keep property taxes at zero for a third year.
The city of Mableton won't adopt a millage rate this year, meaning residents will only need to pay taxes to the county. It's the only city in Cobb without a municipal property tax. The city obtains revenue through other means, including commercial occupational taxes, utility franchise fees, and targeted service fees. It also recently implemented an ordinance requiring trash haulers operating within city limits to pay a fee. Revenue from that ordinance goes to beautification projects and anti-littering campaigns. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Did you hear about this? It was a wild and deadly scene at a Walmart in Covington. An employee opened fire on coworkers.
Investigators are calling this a targeted shooting.
They're all employees and all acquaintances.
Newton County Sergeant Jack Redlinger says only employees were inside the store on Salem Road around 2 a.m. when the suspect went outside.
Yeah, he was inside, and he left the store, went out and got a weapon, and he came back inside the store.
That's when investigators believe he shot and killed a male coworker, then shot and critically wounded another. He then took off to a home nearby where he shot and killed a female coworker. The suspect was subsequently tracked to Aiken, South Carolina, and taken into custody. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this just into the WSB newsroom, and it is good news. The Newton County Sheriff's Office reporting the K-9 officer Petra, a bloodhound who went missing from her handler's home on Berkshire Run in Covington yesterday, has now been found. And the 89th Annual Dogwood Festival is underway at Piedmont Park. The festival featuring fine arts, music, and dancing. Festival Executive Director Brian Hill telling us.
It's an inspirational show because when you see the works these young artists create, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's up on par with a lot of the professional artists.
The festival will run through Sunday. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. He has a look at your Friday roads.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Happy Friday to you. And we're doing much better than we were earlier this morning. That is for sure. Still seeing some volume over there on that West Freeway. It's inbound, 20 eastbound, on and off the brakes from Riverside Parkway over to I-285. Just had a stalled big rig moved off to the right. 285 northbound, the inner loop up at Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. Brake lights improving, leaving I-20. If you're traveling downtown, 75-85 northbound, a little slow from Highway 166 Langford Parkway up to I-20, and some southbound volume through Midtown starting around 17th Street down to North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Mid-60s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A few stray showers or storms, no severe weather threat, and gusty winds. Blowing a drier air, we'll have sunshine on Saturday. Stay breezy, low 45, high 64.
It is 61 degrees right now in Covington, 57 in Kennesaw. Peachtree City has 59 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I want this town to be near you.
11:04 on this gorgeous Friday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Going to continuously update what's going on with the markets vis-a-vis the trade war ongoing with China. The big news overnight, China has hit us back with 125% reciprocal tariffs. No movement there. The markets are Mets, up a little, down a little. Nothing to be concerned about. We'll monitor them. At 11:22, we're going to go to Bloomberg News. Did have some big news from the defense secretary yesterday, but right now I am super excited. We've been talking about this story all week long. The brand new dire wolves, the megafauna that went extinct like 12,000 years ago, now back on planet Earth. Joining us live from Georgia Tech, DNA expert Professor Joseph LaChance. Professor, good morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Am I overhyping this dire wolf story? Because I see there's some pessimists out there saying, these are just alterated gray wolves. They're not really dire wolves.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of overhype here. I think it's an exciting study that they've done, and it's some really interesting looking wolf puppies. But I think you're right that it does seem a bit overhyped.
So what happened? What was the process to get these extinct megafauna back on planet Earth? What was the process that gave us these cute little wolf pups?
Yeah, it's a really challenging thing to do. So I think the first thing that the company that did this, Colossal, did is they basically were challenged with how do you sequence ancient DNA? And so one real tough thing with this is that DNA degrades over time. So what they had to do was basically identify ancient DNA from these dire wolves and then piece it together. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. So you've got all these little fragments and you sort of join them all together. And then ultimately what they had were a couple ancient dire wolf genomes. And then what they did is they looked between those genomes and gray wolves, found the parts that differed the most. And they're like, okay, maybe these are the things that make dire wolves dire wolves. And then what they did is they found 20 different chunks of DNA, and they said, what if we put these into gray wolves? So they used a technique called CRISPR to do this, and basically they genetic engineered gray wolves at these spots and then tried to fix that. And so what they ended up with something is 99 point whatever percent gray wolf, and then a tiny little fraction dire wolf. But the thing is, when they did this, they actually knew that certain parts of the genome may be affected, hair color or coat color, body size, things like that. So it wasn't like they did this blindly. They were like, okay, maybe this does something important.
So Professor, we don't know what the end result will be until these pups grow up, right?
No, we don't at all. And I think one challenge with this is that we don't even know what their behavior is going to be like, right? So their behavior might be just like a normal wolf. We have no idea whatsoever what a dire wolf would be like in terms of behavior.
Yeah, so do we know where they got the ancient dire wolf DNA from?
I know it was from two different samples. I think one of them was an animal that died out 15,000 years ago. I'm not sure where the other one was from. But yeah, basically you're looking at fossil DNA and you're trying to reconstruct the past.
Professor Joseph LaChance from Georgia Tech joining us live on the Mark Aram Show. This isn't going to be a one-off, right? Apparently there are plans to, I don't want to say clone, but recreate mastodons, woolly mammoths. Does that excite the DNA community that this is actually happening?
I think it's inspiring in some sense, but I think there's also a lot of skepticism for those of us that are geneticists. And you're right. So Colossal, what they're really motivated by is like, oh wow, could we bring back the woolly mammoth? But to me, that's a really, really ambitious project, because you can imagine it's one thing to have a wolf puppy and a large dog as a surrogate mother, but then how would you even have a woolly mammoth that, would a elephant mom be able to carry this to term? Who knows?
So that actually, I hate to interrupt you, but that was going to be my next question. Are the dire wolves, for example, are those test tube babies, or they're carried by a surrogate?
They're carried by a surrogate. So imagine you've got a really large dog, and think of it as like the world's most difficult IVF experiment. So, and I think this is something where, like, bringing back a woolly mammoth, I think that's pretty ambitious, and it's hard to imagine that fully succeeding, but you never know. What I don't think you would ever see is something quite like Jurassic Park. So it's one thing to bring back a wolf that went extinct, say 15, 12,000 years ago. It would be entirely different to try to bring something back that died off 65 million years ago.
Well, from my reading it, Professor, that would be impossible. The way that DNA, degenerates over time.
It'd be chopped up in such tiny little fragments that, it's really hard to envision that. But that said, I think there is something to be said for science that it can inspire, even if it is quite a bit overhyped.
I'm just trying to think logistically to do let's say the woolly mammoth, to try to find a willing elephant to carry the woolly mammoth to term. So that might be a big. All right, I was really pumped for the woolly mammoth, but that might be hard to pull off.
Yeah, and the same company actually had something, I think it came out last year, where they engineered some genes from the woolly mammoth into mice of all animals. And it was basically these mice with these really, really crazy quotes. But they're not at all like woolly mammoths, right? But it's like they just said, okay, what if we fix this one gene in a mouse? What would it do?
Are there any ethical questions to this? I feel like I should ask that.
Yeah, so there's some. I think one thing is that we don't really know that if you were to bring back an organism that went extinct a certain number of years ago, one thing to keep in mind is it's not really well adapted to present-day environments. And so when I think of these dire wolves, or gray wolves with a little bit of dire wolf DNA, what happens if they come into contact with a dog that's got parvo? Right? So they're not well adapted to that. Would their immune system be able to handle that? And so I'm not so worried about impact on the environment, everything like that. But you've got these animals that are a little bit out of time, and that would be even if there were a lot more changes. I still think of these as gray wolves with some really cute sort of changes. So they're larger, they've got a little bit different coat color, but they're not that different from normal gray wolves.
I'm trying to think of other extinct megafauna that used to populate North America, like a saber-toothed cat. Is that a possibility? Yeah. Is that something that might be?
I'm sure it's on Colossal's list. I mean, basically they're going after the really charismatic large creatures. So that would not surprise me.
Now, the fact that this is happening is because of a pretty recent development when it comes to ancient DNA, and I think some people term it dirt DNA, right? Where they came up with this hypothesis. Prior to this, you had to find some sort of a fossil that had DNA. It was very difficult, and again, the DNA rapidly deteriorates. And then they discovered dirt DNA, where they could take dirt samples from like the tundra of Siberia and get all of this crazy DNA out of the dirt that was kept frozen. I think Greenland actually was one of the locations. That has kind of changed the game when it comes to genomes, DNA, and the possible recreation of extinct animals.
Yeah, and I think even like when people were sequencing Neanderthal DNA, right, for the first time, it was really challenging because a lot of the DNA that they found, it was basically contaminated. And so one thing is when scientists are trying to piece this together, you really have to be careful to try to say, like, okay, is this DNA from the species that I think it is versus not? But those sort of techniques, and it's actually more bioinformatics, those have really, really improved. And so it's something where, you don't need quite the same, you don't need like a large bone or something like that. You can actually, you can look in the dirt. But then what happens is when you piece together the genome of these ancient individuals, you're basically piecing together different individuals' DNA because you have an entire population that was there. So it's this weird sort of like hybrid of everything that lived there. It's still the same species, but it's still something where it's not just one individual.
I am so fascinated by this. Be honest with me, Professor. How long would I last in one of your classes before you realize?
I think you do pretty well.
I mean,
give yourself credit. I think it's something where it's like once you start to get over the terminology, it's not that bad.
I don't know. It's so much work because like how many one string of DNA of human DNA, or it's so long, right? I think I'd be overwhelmed trying to do DNA research. It's mind blowing what's going on there.
Yeah. So no, but it's not as bad as people think. I mean, we do have 3 billion base pairs in our genome, but the thing is not everything does something functional. So
there you go.
It's not too bad.
Professor Joseph LaChance, Georgia Tech, fascinating conversation. I hope you don't mind, but I want to have you on semi-regular and pick your brain because I'm just really fascinated by this whole DNA stuff.
No problem.
All right.
Great to talk with you.
Appreciate it, Professor. I'd last 2 hours before he kicked me
2
out.
hours. That's a lot.
One class session. He'd be like my clarinet teacher in the 3rd grade. Yeah, you don't have it. But I'm so intrigued by it. Now, the sad news, Deborah, is you know how much I want to see woolly mammoths at Zoo Atlanta. I didn't realize that you'd need a surrogate body, like a surrogate elephant, to carry the woolly mammoth. I can't imagine Zoo Atlanta's like, yeah, take one of, we'll do it.
Take one of our elephants.
Yeah, right? Like, who's going to... And I don't think elephants in the wild, I think there'd be pushback. Like if you captured an elephant in the wild and inseminated that. Yeah, so I'm going to pump the brakes on the woolly. I'll just have to see it. We'll see what happens with the dire wolves. They could just be gray wolves with a little bigger and not the official dire wolves. I want to update the story. This is sound of Casina Carolina arriving back in the U.S. at Joint Base Andrews after being freed by Moscow in a prisoner exchange. Really cool scene. You might remember she was sentenced to 12 years in prison in Russia for donating to a Ukrainian charity. She's a dual Russian-American citizen, by the way. Been held in Russia for a year. She's free now. The Trump administration said the 33-year-old is back now with her family. The Russians released Carolina in exchange for a Russian who was held in the U.S. for stealing materials that helped Russians make military-grade tech like drones. ABC's Patrick Reveal has more on this. He says the swap comes on the heel of talks between the U.S., Russia, in Turkey.
They were focused on improving relations. From the readout from the State Department, it doesn't sound like that much was agreed, but what I think this swap was intended to do was be a sweetener from Vladimir Putin to the U.S., basically saying, look, if you have good relations with us, then good things can happen, like we can release the innocent Americans that we have taken hostage and give them back to you.
Unbelievable. I mean, what's crazy is that the most ludicrous sentence ever? You donated $50 to Ukrainian charity, and you got sentenced to 12 years in prison. That's just unbelievable. All right, let's update the egg prices again. Thank me for cutting the egg prices down for a bit there when I suggested everyone get on the powdered egg bandwagon. But apparently egg prices starting to creep back up all of a sudden.
There are less reports of bird flu, so why aren't egg prices dropping? There was an increase in prices last month, reaching a record high of $6.23 per dozen. Agriculturists point to wholesale egg prices that didn't start dropping until late last March, and those prices won't hit stores for a couple more weeks. And you've got the added demand of Easter, which will also keep prices up until after the holiday.
Now, I saw a chart. I saw a chart that showed the egg prices. I think the average cost for a carton of grade A eggs. I don't know that's the best egg. I don't know. Grade A, grade B, grade F. I don't know. But it's like $6 for a carton, which is down. We saw them as high as like $8 or $9, but it's still 100% more than it was a year ago. We need to check with this. I haven't been, I'm so sorry to say I haven't been to Waffle House in a while. I wonder if they still have the egg surcharge on that. See, that's the problem. And this is not a reflection on Waffle House, but once you start charging customers more for something, it's very difficult to lower the prices. There's not many companies that be like, all right, we're going back to our old pricing. Like once those big prices get there, they're pretty much here to stay. Reminder, next week, one of the greatest giveaways we've ever had on WSB Radio. Starting Monday, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review live in Ameris Bank Amphitheater on Saturday, April 22nd. And 2 tickets to a special private appearance by the band here at the WSB Live Lounge on Monday, April 21st. I am going to host that intimate, small, little mini concert. You'll hang out with the crew here at WSB Radio. Again, I believe twice on Monday. You're going to get a chance to win those tickets, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on 95.5 WSB, actually right here on the Mark Arum Show. All right, coming up next, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the termination of more than $5 billion in contracts. We'll get the latest from Bloomberg News. Before that, though, let's check the ride around town and say hello and good morning, Alex Williams.
Hey, Mark. Good Friday morning to you, sir. Right now, we're watching some volume on the West Freeway, although everything has been back open from this morning's red alert. 20 eastbound, still seeing some volume from Riverside Parkway over to the west side perimeter. DOT's been looking for a right lane crash over there, 20 eastbound at 285, but haven't seen that yet on the jam cam. If you're traveling 85 south out of Gwinnett County, sluggish from 316 down into Norcross to Jimmy Carter Boulevard. 75 northbound, you're packed in, seeing the brake lights on and off out of Locust Grove up through McDonough. We'll watch for that volume to increase throughout today with everybody returning from spring break. Traffic brought to you by Lear Capital. Our financial system is cracking under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA guide at betternestegg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Looking to get organized in style? The brand new Artisan Custom Closet showroom is now open near Trilla Studios in Fayetteville. Come experience the Artisan difference. Meet with a designer for your free consultation and start your custom project today. See more at artisancustomclosets.com.
This was my boyhood dream. Game day in the NFL. And that dream came true for me. Everything was going great for 7 years until one wrong hit put an end to everything. Hi, this is former NFL tight end Mitch Lyons. I was blindsided that fateful Sunday in the NFL, and that injury flipped all my plans upside down. Today, I see how retirement plans can be blindsided. Sudden, unexpected setbacks can jeopardize the goals and dreams you've saved for. That's why at MitchLyonsWealth.com, we show you winning strategies for protecting your savings, maximizing growth, and avoiding common retirement fumbles. MitchLyonsWealth.com helps take your retirement plans into the end zone for a strong finish. Give us a call at 888-471-3896. That's 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Beckers in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Our dedicated, highly trained installers are different. They are true craftsmen with a passion for perfection. Some people hang art on their walls. Our team puts it under your feet. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
Count on us, Jape Services.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL.
General MacArthur is one of our greatest military commanders. But the cause of world peace is much more important than any individual.
74 years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio, President Truman fired General Douglas MacArthur as commander of the American forces in the Far East because of a disagreement over how to fight the Korean War. MacArthur wanted to invade China, and Truman believed that could spark another world war. 74 years ago today here on WSB Radio. All right, joining us live from Bloomberg News, Roxana Tyron. Roxana, good morning. As always, thanks for your time. Interesting reporting this morning from you when it comes to our defense secretary and some DOGE cuts. What can you tell us?
Good morning. It's great to be with you. Yeah, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced last night in a video on X that he is directing $5 billion in contract cuts. Basically, he is targeting a bunch of consulting contracts in particular, consulting and IT contracts in particular, to free up basically $5.1 billion. It probably amounts to about $4 billion because some of these contracts have already started paying out. But he is, just as generally as the Trump administration has been doing, is targeting a lot of the consulting contracts. $4
billion, $5 billion, that's big numbers, but that's a drop in the bucket when it comes to the Defense Department budget, right? What is that annually?
Absolutely. It's $850 billion. And President Trump and Pete Hegseth announced, actually on Monday, that they're looking at basically requesting $1 trillion for defense. So it is definitely a drop in the bucket.
Now, will we see any court challenges like we've seen with other DOGE cuts like USAID, Department of Education, et cetera?
That is likely possible. We haven't heard yet from the consulting companies. Those consulting services are from Accenture, Deloitte, Booz Allen, big firms that traditionally have worked with the Pentagon in the past. And so there's the possibility of court challenges and also the possibility of termination fees, which sometimes can amount to a lot of money.
Roxana Tyron, Bloomberg News. Roxana, really appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. You too.
News, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes. When we come back, we got a big meeting this weekend between the United States and Iran. More movement on the Russia-Ukraine talks. So much more to get you caught up to date with. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we are conquering the unconquerable. Our experts are leading the way with innovative regenerative medicines and biotherapeutics that can repair diseased, injured, or defective tissues and organs to help treat people with chronic medical conditions. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic, you know where to go.
Avoid the stress of preparing to sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. You can skip the hassle of spring cleaning and sell your home fast for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. Don't worry about showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allows you to bypass the market, receive an all-cash offer, and close within days. With over 12,500 five-star reviews, you can trust Mark Spain Real Estate to sell your home fast with their guaranteed cash offer. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kids sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You can earn a hiring bonus up to $2,500. Apply today at overheaddooratlanta.com. overheaddooratlanta.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. There's new information on that helicopter crash in the Hudson River in New York. Aaron Kotursky reporting this morning. The family of 6 killed in that crash were in New York for a celebration.
Agustin Escobar was an executive with the international technology conglomerate Siemens. He was here, we're told, on a business trip, and his family joined him to celebrate his wife's 40th birthday, and it would have been the 8-year-old's birthday today.
And the National Transportation Safety Board investigators are on the scene this morning. Partly to mostly cloudy today. A few scattered showers are possible with an afternoon high of 66, says WSB meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Update on the search for a missing canine officer in Newton County. The sheriff's office there says Petra has now been located and is safe. No word on where the bloodhound was found. The canine somehow escaped from her kennel at her handler's home in Covington on Thursday and then spent the night on the run before she was found. But again, Petra is safe and back with her handler this morning. A wild scene at a Covington Walmart after an employee opened fire on his co-workers.
They're all employees and all acquaintances.
Investigators calling this a targeted shooting. Newton County Sheriff Sergeant Jack Redlinger says only employees were inside the store on Salem Road when it happened around 2 a.m. For some reason, the suspect left.
Yeah, he was inside and he left the store, went out and got a weapon, and he came back inside the store.
That's when he shot and killed a co-worker, went back out to the parking lot, shot and wounded another co-worker, then took off to a home about a mile away. Investigators found a woman shot to death there on Emerson Trail. 3 victims in all. Eventually, they were able to track that suspect to Aiken, South Carolina. That's about 2 hours from here, and they are not naming the suspect or victims at this point. Update on an alleged Ponzi scheme involving an Alpharetta man. A federal judge saying the alleged operator of the $300 million Ponzi scheme is subject to injunctions preventing further securities law violations. The ruling also said that Russell Todd Burkhalter, head of Drive Planning LLC, cannot serve as an officer or director of a company registered with the SEC. According to the order, Burkhalter neither admits nor denies the allegations against him. Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane announcing he has been diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a rare degenerative disease that causes progressive paralysis of the muscles. There is no cure. Dane says he's still going to continue working in Hollywood despite the diagnosis. And the Masters back underway in Augusta, round 2 kicking off this morning with Justin Rose in the lead at 7 under. At last check, Rose was still in first. Scotty Scheffler, the favorite, entering the tournament, and he finished the first round at 4 under. WSB's Bill Caiaccio is in Augusta today. He'll have an update for us coming up in the news at noon. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red. The Dow's down 202 at 39,391. So the Dow's down more than 0.5%. NASDAQ and S&P are also down here at 1133. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather, brought to you by Fenley Roofing. Alex Williams has a look at the roads.
Crash pushed off to the right downtown, 75-85 northbound, just north of where you merge on from I-20. Seeing a few brake lights back to University Avenue. If you're traveling 85 southbound out of Gwinnett County, heaviest part of that volume is in Duluth from 316 past Pleasant Hill Road. And into Cobb County, I-20 westbound, on and off the brakes in the work zone from the mall at Stonecrest over to Wesley Chapel Road, exit number 68. Eastbound not looking too bad as you make the commute out to Lithonia. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Headed to 66 today with a few stray showers or storms, but no threat for severe weather. Drying and clearing overnight, headed down towards a low 45. Sunny, breezy Saturday, high 64.
57 degrees in Canton, at 60 in Loganville. College Park has 62 degrees. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median.
Evening rush hour.
It is an absolute mess.
And everything in between.
Also, bring the speeds down. The rain is falling on 75 and 575.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic. Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We're working with a lot of different countries, and it's all going to work out very well. I think it's going to work out really very well. But
President Trump yesterday in the cabinet meeting, full-on trade war with China. Reaction from the White House next on the Mark Arum Show.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Hey Atlanta, don't miss Zero Res Carpet Cleaning's huge spring break sale. For spring break only, you can take 50% off standard carpet cleaning. That's right, 50% off standard carpet cleaning. Just tell them Chris Chandler sent you. Get your carpets insanely clean for an insanely good price. Secure your 50% off deal before it's too late. Mention Chris Chandler when calling or schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, all they leave is clean.
He
ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:37. Oh, I can taste the weekend. I can touch the weekend. It's 11:37. 23 more minutes for me on the clock. Then I am out of here. Welcome back to the final half hour of the Mark Arum Show for this really busy week. Sadly, Deborah, we don't have any prizes to give away today.
No, we have good stuff for next week,
Yes.
but we're done for this week.
Sorry, so we gave away our last tickets to Andrea Bocelli yesterday, and then on Monday, really excited, 2 chances to win. I think in the 9 o'clock hour and the 11 o'clock hour in the Mark Arum Show, 2 chances for you to win a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review live in Ameris Bank Amphitheater Saturday, April 26th, and 2 tickets to a special private appearance by the band live in the WSB Lounge on Monday, April 21st. I'm going to host that small, intimate setting. They're going to play a couple songs. We'll do a Q&A. Very excited. So 2 chances for you to win that on Monday. I do want to update a big story that we are going to follow this weekend. New talks between the U.S. and Iran about Iran's nuclear program. Don't send me emails. Nuclear program are set to start tomorrow in Oman. President Envoy Steve Witkoff will lead the American delegation with Iran's foreign minister on the other side. Earlier this week, President Trump indicated that these would be direct talks, but Iran says they'd be indirect using an intermediary. ABC's Shannon Kingston covers the State Department and spoke with the ABC podcast Start Here.
There's been a lot of turbulence in the Middle East recently, and it's believed that the Iranian regime is under increased pressure to move forward with building a nuclear weapon. But at the same time, the flip side of that coin, Iran has also been hit hard by Israel. Their defenses are weakened. They're not feeling very strong right now. So the Trump administration thinks, hey, they might be in the right spot to cut a deal.
Yeah, interesting. I did not see this coming, the possibility of peace talks between the United States and Iran. We'll see what happens over the weekend. We'll monitor it live. Obviously, we're going to keep you up to date on the tariffs. The big news this week, the 90-day punt on the global tariffs from President Trump. China, though, still getting it. We're hitting them with 140%. And then China retaliated last night with 125%. We're going to get an update from the White House in just a second. But the EU tariffs might impact you and I, and English Nick, who joins us live here in studio on the Mark Arum Show. Have you tariff-proofed any of the goods that you get from your home country?
No, I mean, really it would mean going to a Taste of Britain in Norcross
yes.
and buying all that British candy today, which I might have to do, because I can't get out of that store with spending less than $100.
Spotted Dick in a can?
They have the Spotted Dick, I believe, but
okay.
The picnic bars, the Mars bars, all that.
So there's nothing you're worried about with with the tariffs?
Not really. I mean, I guess if I was going to plan, I just went to England a couple of weeks ago, so if I was planning a trip, that might change your economic outlook.
Realized that the deodorant I use every day is made in Canada.
Oh.
So I was freaked out that I ordered like basically 6 years worth
what
of deodorant.
What do you use? I'm curious.
Brut by Fabergé.
See, I use Sure deodorant, the stick.
Is that the woman's one?
It is, but it's great. I don't sweat. It doesn't. It might be really bad for you. Maybe it's keeping it all in. But my girlfriend, Kristen, she knows I love that. She bought me like 12 sticks for Christmas, put it in the stocking.
I love her, by the way.
I'm good.
When are we going to hang out?
Whenever you want to go to dinner with you and your lovely wife. Yeah, I'd love to do it.
My wife fell in love with your girlfriend. She was like, we got to hang out with them.
They're good ladies.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go up to that place and we'll have English goods.
We can do that, or we can go to the best Italian kitchen in Candler Park, Gigi's. Gigi's restaurant. It's brilliant.
All right. English Nick, always good to see you, brother.
Hey, good luck with the tariffs, and I guess I'm not shopping at Target too much with 100 and how many percent was it from China?
125% reciprocal tariffs.
I'm going to start shopping all the mom and pop stores.
Yes, buy local, buy American. Anyway, all right, good to see you, Nick. All right, speaking of the tariffs, let's go up to the White House. Senior White House reporter Jennifer Jacobs from CBS. Jennifer, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Good morning. Great to be here.
All right, so let's start with the China's retaliatory tariffs. What do we know about those right now?
Right. So overnight, China retaliated against President Trump's latest tariffs on U.S. goods. China said the administration's actions are a, quote, joke, and suggested that it would be silly to just keep matching these up and down, increasing, escalating tariff moves. So this might be the last tit for tat for China. They did increase tariffs on U.S. imports to 125%. But in a statement, the Chinese finance ministry said look, even if the U.S. continues to impose higher tariffs, it would no longer have any economic significance, and it would go down as a joke in the history of world economics, and we're not going to respond. So that's where we are, is we're at 145% tariffs on some goods imported to the U.S. from China, and we're at 125% on China. So that's where it stands as of now.
I mean, in the world of global politics and finance, calling this a joke seems to be a direct attack at President Trump. Have we heard from the White House yet this morning responding to the Chinese retaliatory tariffs?
Yeah, great question. The president did post on his Truth social media, casting his tariffs plan in general as a win. So this morning he posted, quote, "We are doing really well on our tariff policy. Very exciting for America and the world," with three, let me count that, there are 3 exclamation points. And then he said, "It is moving along quickly, DJT," unquote. So he was talking more generally about his tariff plan being a general win. He didn't respond specifically about China. Now, the U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer, told us outside the West Wing this morning that that he is not talking to China at this point. So he said, we are just making phone calls with others. He mentioned Vietnam and India and a few other countries, but he said it sounds like the U.S. is waiting for China to make the first phone calls to the U.S. to start negotiations.
Just looking at the scene, I mean, this has been an ongoing tariff situation since the second Trump presidency. But now, are we seeing the forest through the trees that it didn't, the tariffs against Argentina and Jamaica and Bangladesh, that was really, they were non-starters. This has always been about our trade deficit with China.
It has been about China. It's also, for President Trump, it's been about the European Union. He has a lot of grievances about the European Union and some imbalances there. And also some of our close allies, South Korea and Japan, Brazil. He does not like that the U.S. gets the short shrift on some of this, and he is trying to level the playing field across the board. But yes, you're correct that China is a big target of this. But that U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer, said he has calls today with Israel, also a major ally, Taiwan. He said, quote unquote, "I have a full dance card today." So it sounds like the president and his representatives are trying to defy expectations. They're trying to downplay what this could mean for American households. In fact, Jameson Greer this morning said in the first term, we put a lot of tariffs on China, and there was a lot of predictions about what would happen, and those ended up being wrong. So the Trump administration is still sticking to their rhetoric that this will end up being a win for America.
Yeah, to be fair, those tariffs against China in the first Trump administration were held by President Biden during his administration. I'm glad you brought up the EU, because where do we stand with tariffs with the EU and Canada and Mexico this morning, Jennifer?
So on the EU, we have been hearing from European officials. So President Macron posted on social media that the Europeans need to stick together. France intends to stand firm on its position. He mentioned how much tariff there is on European goods right now on U.S. imports. He said it's just too much money. So the Europeans are still voicing concerns. Canada has weighed in. They have said that they will begin negotiations on new security and economic agreements, but not until after the Canadian federal elections, which are at the end of this month.
Interesting. Are you going to get the weekend off? Is the president heading to Mar-a-Lago? What's his schedule look like this weekend?
He is heading out of town. We expect him to do some golfing this weekend. And no time off for White House reporters.
Understood. Well, front row to history, Jennifer. Front row to history. Jennifer Jacobs, senior White House reporter for CBS. Jennifer, thanks for your time. Hope you have a relaxing weekend at least.
Thank you so much. You too.
I think before the president heads out of town, he is scheduled for his annual physical today. I'll tell you about that in just a second. The markets, boring, which is great. It's been boring on the markets. Dow's down 39 points. NASDAQ's up 32. So no huge reaction to the 125% retaliatory tariff from China. Crypto, you crypto bros loving this. Up, Bitcoin's up 3.8%, up 3,000. It is now at 82,000. So good day for crypto. Again, for me, the Dow is under 40,000. I needed to just get to 40,000. And I feel like everything's all right. But I'll take a boring day in the markets today. That obviously can change before the closing bell. So keep it locked here to WSB. We'll update the markets for you throughout the day. And we will update traffic for you throughout the day. It's going to be a rough one on this Getaway Friday. Right now, we're dealing with trouble on I-20 out Lithonia way, Alex Williams.
Yeah, found this crash on the Jam Cam. I-20 westbound, just past Evans Mill Road, exit 74 as you head over to Panola Road. Partially in that left lane, but no help on scene with it yet, and it's already jamming up the ride back toward Turner Hill. We're going to keep an eye on this, see if Police and Hero can get this one off to the right. Elsewhere, 285 southbound, the inner loop into DeKalb County, seeing a few brake lights through Clarkston, leaving Memorial Drive down past Covington Highway, and seeing the Friday volume through Midtown and downtown. 85 southbound, starting to bunch up just a tad bit before you get to 17th Street, with delays continuing through Midtown from 17th Street to North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade with another big update from my friends at Myland. They've got a new mortgage available to those of you who own a rental home or investment property. This loan allows you to qualify based on the cash flow of the property. And that means you don't need to provide your income or employment like a traditional mortgage. It's special programs and industry knowledge like this that keep me talking about the abilities of my friends at Myland. Whether you're looking to buy a new home, refinance to lower your payment, or need to see how you can access the equity in your home to pay off other debts, do yourself a favor. Call my friends at Myland. Countless 5-star reviews and testimonials from homeowners just like you. Myland's been a top mortgage lender in Atlanta and a friend of mine for decades. Give Myland a call today. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. At $9.95, you get a quarter-carat pair of studs for free. $24.95, we'll give you half-carat studs. And at $99.95, you're going home with a full-carat pair of studs on us. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
April showers bring May flowers, but they may also lead to water inside your home. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Extra rain could mean extra trouble for your roof. If spring has sprung inside your home, there will be signs. Look for wet spots, water streaks, or dripping water on the ceiling, drywall, chimney area, or in the attic. If that wet spot is now a dry stain, it's still a problem. So when it comes to your roof, think of Findlay first, the perfect match for any roofing issue. They've replaced over 65,000 roofs locally with high-quality roofing experience and expertise. Only Findlay offers a lifetime leak-free warranty at no additional cost. And with Findlay, manners matter. They'll treat your home like it's their own with 5-star exceptional service. Plus, Findlay offers upfront pricing, 0% financing, and a free roof analysis. Get started today at FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
11:53 on the Mark Arum Show. Hope you folks have a great weekend. Dogwood Festival. Have you ever been to the Dogwood Festival?
I'd say that I have one time.
It's really cool. 86th annual, I think, this weekend. And the best part about the Dogwood Festival at Piedmont Park is there's food options there, like amazing food. Now, when there's no festivals, there's not amazing food options. I've been pushing this for years. We need hot dog carts littered across Piedmont Park. I want at least 10 hot dog carts. If I ever get elected mayor, Deborah, put this on my platform. At minimum, Monday through Sunday, 10 hot dog carts in Piedmont Park.
10 hot dog
10
carts.
hot dog carts. Every day you can go and get a hot dog. Unless you're about to go get a physical, you probably shouldn't eat a hot dog. President Trump is getting his annual physical today. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump undergoes his annual physical exam today at Walter Reed. The president posted on social media this week, quote, "I have never felt better, but nevertheless, these things must be done." Mr. Trump in January became the oldest American to be sworn in as president at 78 years old. The most comprehensive details about his health are from more than 7 years ago. The most recent details came in a 3-paragraph letter from his personal physician in November 2023, in which the doctor wrote Trump's overall health is, quote, excellent. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
The only time I really worried about the president's health, I mean, aside from the assassination attempt, was remember when he was in office and he came down with COVID and they had to take him to Walter Reed. We were on the air live there and the chopper came and like there were reports that he was on an oxygen machine. I was like, oh my. I tell you what, I mean, listen, I watched that press conference yesterday at the cabinet meeting. He seems like he's lost weight. I mean, he looks, to me, looks better than he did in his first term. Deborah, did you ever get into the Pokemon card wave or phase?
No, not my thing at all.
Not me neither. I'm a lot of the baseball card people I hang out with also collect Pokemon. This is crazy. An Iowa man's been arrested for stealing some valuable Pokemon cards.
Police say Alex McClellan broke into a collectibles shop in Perry and swiped up to $40,000 worth of cards. Store supervisor Justin Estes alerted other local shops.
We pretty much wrote everything off. We thought it was gone.
Police say 3 days later, McClellan tried to sell some of the cards at a shop in Des Moines, where manager Raven Voorhees grew suspicious.
It was just some specific cards, and we were really just keeping an eye out for the value.
McClellan is being held on burglary charges. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Check your closet, friends. There's some really expensive Pokemon cards out there. You can be sitting on a gold mine.
Longoria's Fact of the Day.
All right, today is National Barbershop Quartet Day.
Andy Bernard.
Yeah, and the musical style has a strong ties to jazz and blues with roots in African American communities of the South. I didn't know it had ties to jazz and blues.
Yeah, if we were to do a barbershop quartet here at WSB Radio, give me the 4 participants in that. Who do you think?
Oh, the 4 people that can sing?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, so obviously you, because you were supposed to be a crooner, right?
That's right. I am a crooner.
Right.
Chris Chandler probably can sing. He plays the piano.
Yeah. Vinny's got to do all the
Vinny Drip.
remixing and everything, and then I think maybe you need a female voice in there just to kind of.
Sabrina.
Does it have to be?
Sabrina's got a lovely voice.
All right, there you go.
There you go. Our barbershop quartet. All right, happy National Barbershop Quartet, everyone.
And now,
does Yuri have one
ready
at
for
Vintage
the
Barbershop when you go in there? You're going tomorrow.
I'll find out tomorrow.
There
I'll
you
tell
go.
him he needs to start putting one in there.
Stars of the show, the main cast today, kicked butt as always. Deborah, Lil Gnocchi, Longoria. I brought in donuts, so I'm going to give myself a star of the show. Some great guests today. Aaron Katersky from ABC joined us live in New York City. The latest on that horrible helicopter crash yesterday in New York City. Roxana Tyron from Bloomberg News on the Pete Hegseth cuts. We talked to senior White House reporter Jennifer Jacobs from CBS. So good to have political analyst Bill Crane back live with us. Bill, kicked in cancer's butt. I know you will continue to do that, my friend. How about Professor Joseph LaChance from Georgia Tech talking about DNA and the dire wolves? He gets a star of the show. English Nick popped in long enough to get a star of the show. John Cohen covering the courts for ABC. And final star of the show, all of you that listen. We keep crushing the ratings 9 to noon. But more importantly, the latest ratings, we're the highest rated show on WSB Radio. That is really tough to do. We got a lot of good shows. We've been number 1 again. So thank you. Without you, we wouldn't have jobs. So thank you for listening. All right. Social medias will be active throughout the weekend at Mark Arum,